This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sorry I couldn't catch up to all those comments, but thank you guys for being here. It's good to see you all on this Friday. I scheduled it late because my husband's off today, and I thought it was Saturday for some reason last night. I was trying to get videos out, so forgive me for that. The usual time will be 9:30 weekdays and 10 o'clock on weekends. So for the next 2 days, it will be 10 o'clock, and then starting Monday again, it'll be 9:30. It's good to see you all. I'm getting this pulled up, this interview real quick, and so we can jump right in. Just a minute. Eek! Goodness gracious, thank you. Thank you. Gifting those memberships, I appreciate that. That helps so much. Thank you. Let me get this pulled up so y'all can see it. Oh, okay. I had files pulled up. I'm still working on getting, I wanted to say that I'm still working on getting the Madeline Soto playlist in order. I haven't added any more videos to that playlist because there's older interviews that I got to put out, like the one I just put out with Stefan's dad. So I am working on that. I've got to go through and play each video and get the date and the time so I can have them in order. So I'm sorry, it's like all over the place right now while I'm getting videos out. I kind of find videos in my audio files and I'm like, oh, that's what that is, and release it. So if you can handle that for now, I will be having the Madeline Soto playlist in order as soon as I can. Thank you all again for being here, and with that, we'll get started. It's from February 29th, around 5 p.m. Jennifer is confronted about things she said in the Fox interview, among other things.
All right, the date is February 29, 2024. Time is 5:09 p.m. We are at 4012 Santa Maria Drive. In reference to case number 24001809. It's myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and Jennifer Soto. So, to give you a little bit of what's happening now, there's a few other additional pieces of evidence that we're collecting at the time. Okay. Some of that evidence came from Stefan's phone. Okay. Some of the pictures that were on the phone. Okay. That we've identified belonging to Maddie as well. So clothing that she was wearing, that sort of stuff. Okay. That's what we're collecting. Okay.
She's so calm while they're telling her that they've identified Maddie in some of the photos on Stefan's phone. Like, you knew at this point that there was images of Smex acts on his phone, and your response is just okay. Like, no emotion. I don't know how anybody's supposed to believe that you didn't know anything. Anybody else, I've said it before, if I found out somebody had done that to my child, my bonus children, the neighbor's kids, the kid up the road that's bullying my kids, I don't give a shit. I'm coming after you. You're going to have to tase my ass. You're going to have to put me down because I'm coming. I wanted to say hey to Cozy Constellations, Joy. I saw Anders earlier, Angela B, Diane Cat, Sub Rosa. I wanted to call some of you guys out that I could see real quick. Norma, good morning. Good morning. I wanted to try to say good morning to y'all. Ella Blue, good morning. Good morning. My lovely Jenny, a one-way street. Trixie, Eek, Anders. I think I said Anders. Diane, yep. All you guys, hello, welcome, and thank you for commenting. All right, with that, I'll get back to this.
Okay. We will leave you an evidence sheet to let you know what we took. Everything that we've taken from the house is in an evidence sheet that's going to be left here for you. Okay. It may take them a little bit because what they do is they take a picture of it, they collect it, go to the next one, take a picture of it, collect it. So it'll be a little bit, but it shouldn't be too long. Okay, so we spoke yesterday, and we've got a little bit more information since the last time we spoke. Last night, I guess it would be. So I'm going to ask you to go through this again. Monday morning, when you were asleep, Stefan and Maddie were upstairs, and she's going to school. Run me through that morning again. How, like you mentioned something about you hearing noises, and then you woke up. So how exactly did that go down?
Monday morning, I was woken up by Stefan Stearns coming into my bedroom to try to put the leash on the dog. He was saying, "Here, puppy, let's go."
She calls him Stefan Stearns here. This is the only time I've ever heard her refer to him as Stefan Stearns. So again, that tells me that there's a reason why you're using his full government name. And it's because she already knows about the CSA images that they took his phone and they found things on it. So she's referring to him with his full last name and everything.
And trying to leash him up.
Yeah, like Cozy said, even the daggum dog has anxiety. I've stated several times, I hope that dog got in a better place and is anxiety free now. Goodness gracious.
Got up off the bed at that moment because my dog has a tendency to pee a little bit when you're too direct and you put a leash on him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point, one way.
Nicely. And, yeah. He got the leash on the dog and told me, "Okay, don't worry about it. Just go back to sleep." And I said, "Okay." So I went back to sleep. I think this was around, I'm assuming this was around 8 o'clock in the morning because I'm assuming, he's getting ready to take her to school. He's walking the dog before he does that. Yeah. So I'm not sure what time it was, but I think it was around 8 o'clock in the morning when this happened.
Okay.
I thought I had heard somebody in the kitchen. I don't know who it could be. But yeah,
Diane asked, was he seen walking the dog? I'm not sure. It sounds like they're replaying a storyline that they have put together already, like Cozy said. You can tell Stefan Stearns came up with the story. Hold on. And she memorized it word for word because she kept saying we or I dropped her off. And then she would say he dropped her off. Yeah, she said even told the best friend, well, I dropped her off at the church that morning. We heard that in the interview with the best friend. And she kept referring I, which again is suspicious to me. It's suspicious to me in all cases when you use terms like we or I. When I'm talking about me and my husband, I say we or I occasionally, but not with every time I'm talking about something unless he's there.
I just heard sounds, but I'm not sure who it was. Who was in the kitchen? Could have been Stefan.
Cozy, you click the link and then you'll come up and your little profile picture will be up here and people can hear you talk as well. If you want to say something. Angela and Tony, good morning. Good morning.
And Maddie.
Okay.
Been one of my roommates.
When the deputies first talked to you, when you were reporting her missing,
yeah,
you remember writing a statement?
Yes.
Okay. In that statement, you say you saw Maddie.
I saw. I know. I misremembered. I didn't see her. Okay. I wanted to believe I saw her, but I didn't.
But when you're talking to the deputy on his body cam, you describe what she's wearing.
Don't be nervous.
Because she had picked it out the night before.
Okay.
I told her to set up her clothes the night before to have it ready, so she was ready to go.
Did you do a interview with Fox 35 recently?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoop. Sorry, I'm muted. Hold on just a minute. And I'm going to pull Cozy up. Give me 1 second. Hey, Cozy.
Hi, nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. It's good to not see you.
Yeah, not see you, but for you to be here. I don't know why I always say that. Thank you for being here. Um,
Yeah, thank
so
you
I
for letting us participate.
Oh yeah, of course. I love it when you guys participate. So, you got some things you want to say about this interview?
Yeah, I'm getting like an echo, like I hear myself, but then it's like delayed.
Okay, so if you have YouTube open on your phone, it'll echo. Do you have, or whatever you're using, do you have YouTube open?
Okay, I closed YouTube, so I'm just here on the StreamYard.
Okay, so is it better now?
Yeah, the
Okay.
echo is gone.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Do you want me to play the interview and then you talk, or do you want to talk now? I'm not used to this.
Um, yeah, this is my first time too.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, like you said, if I feel like Stefan started scripted everything, and I could just imagine him like maybe sitting her down and being like, okay, so I dropped her off, and then she said no, and then because every interview that she gives, she does that. She goes, well, I dropped her off, and she's like trying so hard to remember, and then she'll say, oh no, my partner dropped him. We dropped her off. Oh no, my partner dropped him off. And there are times when she will say I when she's talking
Yep.
about what Stefan was doing.
Yep.
So
And she's telling the teachers at the school, oh well, she wasn't here today. Well, I dropped her off at the church. Like
yeah,
it's not pertinent information for the teacher. Why are you making sure to tell every single person you come into contact with that you or we dropped her off at the church? It doesn't make sense. It's weird.
yeah. Everything she did is a super sus. Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm stuttering here.
Oh, it's okay.
And if you I don't know if you follow the Madeline McCann case, I got into true crime, and then all these cases with like missing children, and innocent parents are like ripping out their hair, and they're desperate, and they're running around doing everything, and the guilty parents do absolutely nothing. Like
Right.
Casey Anthony, she was annoyed at the 911 call when her mother made her talk to the 911. She's like, yeah, so yeah, like my kid's missing for like a month.
Yep. Yep. That's
And
right.
the Madeline McCann parents just psychos too. Everything they do is to not look for the child. Why? They don't want the child found. Or if
Right.
it's a husband that killed the wife, they're not looking for the wife. Oh, she's
Right.
gone. I don't know where she went. So it's like it's spot on, man. You just look at people's behavior, and I know how people say everybody will react differently. Like I agree to a point, because if you're grieving, yeah, some people might be screaming, some people might be just quiet in shock, but there are things that everybody will do. If someone is missing, you're looking for it.
Right. I think your mouth might be close to your phone or whatever you're talking into because they're
Is
saying
it too
it's loud.
loud?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh,
No, you're
okay.
good.
I'm
You're good.
sorry.
It's okay. No, you're fine.
There's
You're
a
fine. You're good. It's okay. Um, yeah, with the Madeline Soto, not Madeline Soto, Madeline McCain case, I'm leaning more towards she's no longer here, and that
Oh yeah.
I think they gave her medication to go to sleep, and they overdosed her by accident. That's my
Yeah.
theory on that one. And
Yeah.
Anthony, that was crazy. She was walking around Universal Studios trying to show them where she worked and just lying her ass off. That shit was crazy too.
Yeah. And in these three cases, there's this connecting thing of doping the child.
Right.
Of course, we're just allegedly, like we can't prove it, but the way
Yeah.
Casey Anthony talked about Zanny, I mean, I lived in Florida for 6 years. We called Xanax Zanies. I took
Yeah.
Xanax, you know. I still
Right.
take Xanax, Zany the nanny,
Yep.
So, and then probably left her in the trunk. She died by accident, but she wanted to make sure she was dead. And then the McCanns, there's this whole speculation about drugging the kids, and then
Right.
and then poor Maddie with all these medications that she had for anxiety because of PTSD, probably allegedly. We're all right.
Yep.
None of us we all don't know. Only God knows everything that happened and the people involved. But and then there were situations when Maddie pointed out to Jen, and she said that Stefan gave her pills, gave her like a double dose or something. So we know that he would putting all the, putting two and two together. We know that he was doping her up.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I think I saw somewhere too where there was like a heavy sedative in her system. I don't know. I've got my banner across the bottom that states this is all just speculation. Just
Yeah.
everybody to know this is all just speculation. But I thought I saw somewhere that they found some kind of like sedative that they give people before surgery in her system, and then
Mm-hmm.
they found out it was prescribed to Stefan, which was weird.
Yeah. So anyways, we all feel in our hearts that she's guilty of
Yeah,
something. Like at first I'm like, maybe she offed Maddie herself because she was jealous. I don't think she did. I think it was Stefan.
right.
I think he was, but she gave him access to Maddie. This
Yeah,
probably would never have happened if she hadn't allowed it. She
right.
bringing a stranger into her home with a child, and I was like, oh yeah, just take my child upstairs to a room that has a lock on the door, and he has a gun. I mean,
Yeah,
in the room right there.
right.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I don't think that like I just said, if somebody told me or showed me that images of any child in that manner, I'm definitely not having the same reaction that Jen is.
Yeah,
Because
I
whoever
understand
did,
being in shock. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. I was just saying whoever did it's gonna be lucky to be breathing. Because
Yeah, I understand being so in shock where you're kind of like dumbfounded for a minute or two, where you're just like, because
right,
even sometimes it takes you like a moment to even cry if you hear like terrible news. It takes you a moment for your brain to process. But I don't know, man. Like if you even look at someone I love crooked, I'm gonna be like down your throat. Like I
right,
just cannot
right.
understand. She's like, uh-huh, yeah. Oh, so your daughter is dead. Uh-huh. Yeah, so he was
Yeah,
raping your child. Uh-huh. Yeah.
no
Yeah, but
emotion.
no.
And like I know that she's on mental health meds, and a lot of time they give you mood stabilizers, which make you like kind of numb to all emotions. But I still would think that you would have emotion more than what you had.
Yeah, yeah. I was on bipolar. I'm like talking about all these people on meds, even the dog's anxious, but like I've had my whole history of meds. I was on bipolar medication for 10 years. And yeah, it does kind of make you into a zombie after a while.
Right.
But it still, if something
Yeah.
happens to your child,
Right. You're gonna react.
that you're gonna have some kind of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just gonna sit there like, okay, like a potato, like,
Yeah.
And when she's like, oh, I missed my dose, I never took the exact medication she took, but these kind of psychiatric medications that work, that are mood stabilizers, they take
Mm-hmm.
weeks to work. So
Yep.
if you miss one dose, you're not gonna feel it. It's like, oh, I missed one dose,
Right.
and she's like, oh, my depression symptoms are coming back.
Yeah.
That's not true, because
Right.
these mood stabilizers, they're like long lasting. If you stop taking them, like you still feel the effects for like days afterwards. So I doubt that she forgot her meds. If she did, she wasn't like off. And
Right.
she's been working there for 3 days, and her coworkers already noticed that she was weird,
Really, I haven't
because
heard that.
she said that she, in one of her many interviews, she said that, oh, I missed my dosage, so I needed my sleep. I needed my sleep.
Oh, I
Me,
remember that. Mm-hmm.
And then
Yep.
she said that even at work, she wasn't herself, and she was acting weird, and she couldn't smile at people. That day, that was Maddie's birthday party that she missed.
Yeah.
And then she said, oh yeah, even my coworkers noticed that I was different.
I don't think so. I don't think
After
so.
3 days, you don't know someone that much. I don't know, man. Like we're all speculating, right? We're
Yeah,
all
this is
speculating.
all speculation, but yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I had to take bipolar meds too. They put me on lithium, and I was on it for about a week or two, and I told them I couldn't take it anymore because I wasn't able to function and watch my 2 year
Yeah,
old child. But it took about a week or two to build up in my system enough to where I could tell a difference. And if I
yeah,
missed one dose in that period, it would not have bothered me to the extent that it bothered her.
yeah.
And Stefan's ex-girlfriend always talks about that he couldn't spend the night because he had to go home and cuddle with Maddie. So again, that's telling me it's an every night thing.
Yeah. And like they have this ongoing theme of trying to infantilize Maddie, like turn her into this helpless little baby. I mean,
Yeah,
she was 12, she just turned 13, right? But like, she completed 13 years, so she's like 12, 13.
right.
And oh, we need eyes on her when she's taking her meds. Like, I don't think she's that stupid that she can't read the label on the bottle.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say stupid, but yeah, I
Or
think she could.
confused, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if you absolutely want to make sure your child wants to, like, that's 12 years old, can we all make a mistake? We can, but like, put a sticker on a bottle, like, this is morning, this is afternoon. And then
right.
he's like, oh, I had to be there for, and I had to text uh Jen. This is Stefan, right?
Yeah,
She's
so
already
that
going through her nighttime routine, like she's brushing her teeth. Bro, you gotta watch this kid brush her teeth, take a shower, build her nest. Like, what is this? These, if they treat her like this helpless baby, and they never say one good thing about her.
right. I do, and now that you brought that up, that's a good point. Like my kids, if they're having an allergy or if they need to take some ibuprofen, they take it themselves. It's in the cabinet. So that's a great point I hadn't even thought about. And yeah, they don't say the dad and the stepmom said nice things about her, if I'm not mistaken. And Jen doesn't, Stefan doesn't, because Stefan hasn't much talked, but it is weird. I
Yeah,
think she was fortunately used as a toy and a moneymaker, as
yeah.
horrible as that.
And even Stefan Stearns didn't say anything bad about Maddie. It's horrible, but I mean, in a
Yeah.
good way, he never says anything bad about her. You
Yeah.
know, like Jen points out, oh, she sleeps like a monkey. She's kicking and punching. Maybe she's trying to get that creep off of her, that stinky creep off of her.
Yep.
And she's messy. Have you seen? Did you see the photos of Jen's bedroom? Her room
Right.
was a pigsty. There was crap all. She's like, oh, I didn't want Stefan living with me anymore because he was a hoarder. Yeah, there
Yeah,
was. You
it's
could see like Tamagotchis all over her room, but I'm like, bruh, she's
yeah,
messy too.
right. Her room wasn't nowhere near as messy as Jennifer Soto's was. There's just so much that doesn't add up.
Even the grandmother, and I've been googling this, and the interview is gone right when Maddie went missing. I think it was Telemundo. On YouTube it's gone, and on their website it's gone. I don't know if they just took it down. It was just a coincidence, or the grandmother paid, but not even the grandmother, Jen's mother, had anything nice to say, because when Maddie was still missing, she said the missing child, and that was just like that just hit me like,
Yeah, that's putting yourself away, distancing yourself from
you
the
know
situation.
and I even
Yeah.
commented with my mom, and I said, Mom, like, if you hated me for whatever reason, I don't have any children, I have a cat, she's my child, but like, if you don't like your daughter or your son, but you're not going to hate your grandkids are like extra special.
Right.
Right? And the
Everybody.
grandmother, she never says Maddie. I don't think she says her name once. And then she just says the missing child. And she also says, like, oh, she was very forgetful. She forgets her phone or whatever. So you could see this maybe pattern. Maybe Jen learned this with her mom, because I think it was on Plunder's channel. She
Uh-huh.
went through Jen's live journal. That was a blast from the past, where she's complaining about fighting with her mom, and you could tell they've never had a good relationship. So of course this kind of behavior is learned, but I don't care.
Right.
Like, if my mom hated my kid, I'm not gonna hate my kid because my mom hated me. I'm gonna love my kid. I'm gonna be different. I don't know. That's just me. I know people are different.
No. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I didn't have a real good relationship with my mom, but I try to be different. You should always try to be different. And the other part, grandmas are very like my mom with my first daughter, she was like wanted her all the time, like wanted her to stay with her all the time. Like grandmas usually are like kidnapping the child and like, okay, this is my first grandchild. I'm keeping her with me or him with me all the time. Like, yeah, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, JR here in the chat said the grandmother held a very nice birthday party for Maddie. Yeah, they had a birthday party at her house, and I don't know if it was in some interview or somebody speculating said that, well, maybe Jen made a point to not go to the birthday party because it was at her mother's house and she doesn't get along with her mother.
That could be a point. That could be.
But
And I'm
still,
glad.
man, it's your child.
Yeah. Like her whole family was going to be there, but again, the grandma doesn't like Stefan, and I
No.
appreciate that from her. And I wonder if Jennifer didn't go there because Stefan couldn't go. Um, or because I mean, when you start working a job and you're in training, you don't want to take off. Like I've said before, I really hope that if Jennifer could not take off for whatever reason and they already had the party planned and all of that, then I hope she did something with her on her birthday. Some people have said that she didn't, but I don't
Yeah. Well, there was in one of the interviews with the cops. I think it was like we didn't have the audio. We just had the audio, not the video. I think she said that Manny's birthday was actually on the Thursday, on the previous Thursday, and she did
right.
something with her. But that's all she said about it. Oh yeah, we did something on Thursday night. What did she do with her? Did she
Right.
and with her Maddie's, you can tell I'm obsessed about this case. I'm
You're
like
good.
watching everything multiple times. And then I'm gonna go over there and help the cops, like, hey, need my help figuring this out. And then Maddie's best friend, when the cops interviewed her from school, she said that Maddie was sad because none of her other friends from school showed up to her party. That's
Yep.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And she just wanted money because she was saving money because she wanted to run away to the woods to build a house.
Yeah.
So Maddie already had this plan she didn't want gifts, like she didn't want, like, presents. She just wanted money as a gift.
Yeah.
Uh and because she was saving this money because she was planning probably to run away. How tragic.
Yeah, they talk about it being like a World War III scenario, but I think there's more to that. And I've got other interviews like with other friends, but they're not real pertinent. Like we don't get a lot of information, but there's two other kids interviews and I haven't put them out because everybody had such a fit about the best friend, and these friends don't really know much. They were kind of just like acquaintances, but every single one of them said she was always sad. All
Yeah.
of them. It's it's sad. It's really
Yeah. I
sad.
mean, so I'm thinking part of the times she was drugged up when she was being abused.
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of the times she must have been awake because that drawing she had in her notebook where it's like a person giving a blowjob
Yeah, I
on
that
her knees. So it's not like she's lying down and he's like, sticking in
well,
her. So she must have been awake for quite a bit of this abuse for years.
yeah. Um yeah, there's other parts to that drawing that are I when I saw that drawing, I cried, but I'm not going to go into detail about what's on it. It's horrible. And yeah, I know in order to do that you have to be awake. I think she was
Yeah.
heavily medicated, but it's sad. It's all
Yeah.
really
She was aware of something because she was drawing it on her notebook, you know?
the fact that
And
oh, go ahead.
no, you,
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, the fact that she had to take medication to sleep because she was scared. Like at one point, she said she had nightmares and she couldn't sleep good. Like that told me a lot.
yeah.
Why is she having nightmares? Is it because there's a freaking monster in her bed?
Yeah, yeah. And the kicking and the punching, like if you're having like night terrors where you have these terrible nightmares, my dad does that. He has to sleep in a separate bed because he has nightmares really bad and he kicks and punches. So my mom is like, all right, you're going to get your own bed, because he would like kick and punch her sleeping. So if she's kicking and punching in her sleep, she's having nightmares. That's a lot of anxiety. I don't know. This is me speculating. Like, she knew what was
Yeah.
going on to a degree, and this poor child had no one to, because, like, would you tell your teacher if you're being abused? I don't know if I would trust a teacher to be like, oh hey.
No, I don't think she felt like she could tell anybody. Unfortunately, I'm gonna
It's really
play.
sad.
It is really sad. I'm gonna play this interview. You can stay up here, and if you want
Yeah,
me to pause it because you want to say something, just let me know. Okay.
I will.
Okay.
Okay. In that interview, you say something to the effect that you don't want her to come home. Do you remember that?
No. Why would I say that?
I don't know. That's part of the interview.
Okay. I wanted to say about this, I did replay that interview in an earlier live, and what she says is, I don't want Maddie to come home hurt. But again, I wouldn't care how my daughter came home. You know? Like, regardless of how she is, I would just want her back home. What do you think, Cozy?
I don't know. I
It's
didn't think
weird.
about that too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe, I mean,
Maybe
I don't know if you
apparently,
listened to it or.
Sorry, babe. What'd you
sorry,
say?
apparently in the beginning, Jen believed that Maddie was missing. And I kind of believe her, where at first she was like, no, why would he lie to me? Like, he told her, she never questions anything he does, right? And she's acting, when the cop was like, hey, you don't have any reaction, and she said, well, I still believe that she was missing. I kind of believe that I don't know, maybe at first she thought Maddie was missing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. But then, the other things that she says makes me doubt that, makes me think that maybe she knew that.
Yeah, the
I don't
interview
know.
seems pretty scripted to me, and I think the police even
Hmm.
pick up.
Yeah. There's Deception Channel. What's his name? Something Deception.
I know
He's
what it is. I've
an
watched it.
attorney. Yeah. He's like, body language isn't real, which I completely disagree. Body language is very real. But he dissects everything they say, and he has like a whole playlist on the Madeline Soto case too. And
Yeah.
then, he says how there's a lot of leakage. Yeah, sub Rosie, you're talking about leakage. How a lot of times the people involved will let slip how the person was killed. Deception Detective, that's it. Yeah. And
Yep.
then if you remember that first TV interview that she did, where she's like shaking her leg up and down and whatever, and then the dog feeder or the cat feeder interrupts her, and she's like smirks at one point, and the first thing she says, she goes, I feel like I can't breathe.
Right. After just smiling about the bird feeder
you
thing.
know
Yeah.
and like, could that be just a coincidence that Maddie was strangled? And yeah, maybe she was. I believe that she was super anxious because she was bumping her leg up and down real fast, like you're so anxious
Yep.
you can't breathe.
Yep.
I don't know.
Nervous because you're on camera and your interview is scripted and you're scared you're going to mess up. Again, speculation, but possible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'll shut up now and I'll let you guys watch the listen to the interview.
Oh, you're good.
No,
If you
I
saw it.
haven't seen anything.
Okay.
Just by the way, that's what the live is for. When I go like I always put my videos out so you guys can watch it without commentary, but the live is for us to talk. So don't ever feel like you have to hush. That's what this is all about.
Okay.
Maybe when we're done with this, you can Google it to see if you misspoke or.
I must have misspoken because that's not. I remember recalling asking her to come home. Please come home. We miss you. I want you here. Like, please be safe. I remember saying that.
Okay. All right. I want to touch a little bit more, go more in depth on the relationship that you have with Stefan. Now, you said you guys have been dating for a while, and then you kind of broke up, and it's been on and off for a few years, I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah.
During that time, was he seeing anybody else?
Again, the long pauses and how long she has to think about things really irritates me. Like there's I could give grace for a little bit of lag, but every single time she thinks for such a long period of time, it's like you're trying to make them think you're trying to remember, but you can't quite remember, instead of like spouting out what actually happened quickly like a normal person would. Also, if this is too loud, please let me know.
I was told at one point sometime last year that, hey, the girl I was hanging out with, one of my coworkers I was hanging out with outside of work, who I said I was hanging out with, I was really having sex with her. Because I asked him, did you have sex with her? Like, did you tell me you're
I don't know what that is. That's annoying.
just hanging out?
Sorry.
Did you have sex with her? And he admitted that he did. I think her name is Marielle, but I'm not sure what her last name would be.
Okay. Now, the relationship that you had with Stefan. You told me that you haven't had sex in a while.
Yeah.
When you guys were together and intimate with each other, is maybe a little uncomfortable, but something that we have to discuss is when you guys were intimate with each other.
Shaker's sister, she said in the interview with Fox that she didn't want Maddie to come home hurt. If you guys want to look at that, I can grab that real quick and we can go over it. I did that in one of my earlier lives, but that was when it was mainly just me and Jen. But we looked at the interview to see what she actually said, and what she actually says is that I don't want Maddie to come home hurt, which again is weird. Even the police are like, why did you say that? But like JR said, we don't know how we would react to those situations. I, however, don't think it would be like Jen Soto to the extent of like no emotion about anything, apathy. She seems apathetic about a lot of things to me. I hope that I would react differently, but you're right. Nobody knows,
A lot of people call it vanilla sex.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it, whatever kind of sex you want to call it. Mm-hmm. How would you describe you and Stefan when you guys were intimate?
Pretty vanilla. I would say just missionary and oral,
mm-hmm.
but nothing more than that. Missionary.
Okay. Has he ever asked you to perform a certain way or anything that you think would be out of the ordinary?
He's, I want to say he's joked around about wanting anal sex, mm-hmm. and like, yeah, we should do that. We should try that. And I'm like, absolutely not. No, to me, his penis is average size, but thick, and it hurts. Mm-hmm. So I don't want, even normal sex hurt to me. So I just didn't want to do it anymore, honestly.
Okay. Nothing other than that.
I'm going to be real careful about what I say right now, but that really bothers me to hear that. If you make the connections in your head, it's devastating. It like, I'm getting emotional right now hearing that because it's hard to hear that and think about what Madeline was going through. I hate that part of this interview. It always makes me get emotional. And I'm sorry that that happened to her. It's awful.
That you think would be out of the ordinary?
No.
Okay. All right. So he is on medication. You told me he's on medication for insomnia.
Insomnia.
Can you say that right? Sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And then I believe you said ADHD.
Yeah, and also anxiety meds, I think.
Anxiety, okay. Anything else that you can think of?
He did have, I think, a vial of, I'm not sure if it was Viagra or Cialis, but one.
A vial? Why are we talking about vials? Good morning, Lolo. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I booted the video. Okay, video's back. Vials, like that's what you use a syringe for, if I'm not mistaken. Why did she say vial of Viagra? That's weird, in my opinion.
One or the other.
Mm.
I know he was having a hard time getting an erection or being able to enjoy getting off. And he ended up figuring out we couldn't figure out. He went to the doctors, tried to figure out why he was having these issues. They told him it must be something mental because physically his body's fine, should be acting normal.
Okay.
But we found out it was a side effect due to the Adderall medication he was on, that he was not able to enjoy himself sexually. Once he got off Adderall for a while and was able to enjoy himself again, I think there was no need for the Cialis or anything.
Gotcha.
Like that.
Okay. Would he ever talk to you about what kind of porn he liked watching or anything like that?
No.
I didn't realize that this was that interview. I probably should change the thumbnail and put a big trigger warning on that one too. Um, Cozy Cozy says Adderall does affect that. I thought he was still on Adderall. I thought the friend maybe didn't see him for a while, so maybe he wasn't still on Adderall, but I thought he was, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
remember. They talk about so many. It's just pills, pills, meds, meds, pills, pills, meds, meds.
yeah,
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 Diane, she just wasn't his type, maybe.
I think so.
Because yeah, because I think I get the feeling that he was like in love and obsessed with Maddie in a horrific, sick way.
Yep,
You
me
know,
too.
because that poem, right? Did you do a video with that poem, that love poem that was written for Maddie that like nobody knows who it was, but we speculated was him?
Yeah,
Because like when
well,
I held you in his arms.
I found that one where she's talking about that song "Summertime Sadness." I need to look back through. I'm trying to get all the pictures uploaded back on my computer so that I can make a video with just the pictures. We went through them in a previous live, but I'm not sure if I saw that poem specifically. I remember she
Yeah,
was
there's
talking.
this poem that like there's even like a little heart on the back, and it says like it rhymes. It sounds very childish. It could be Stefan Stearns because he's like a child mentally, but he's it's like when I held you in my arms, my heart broke or something, and it's not Jen's handwriting. There's like samples of her handwriting, and it's really weird because it doesn't sound like something the mother would say, but almost something that like a lover would say in a childish infantile way. And then
Right.
when he's telling the cops, and of course he's way smarter. To give him credit, he's way smarter than Jen is not the brightest bulb in the box, but and
Yeah.
he's very good with words. He's like meandering, and I mean we're all
Yeah.
hating these words because he says that. But
Right.
in one of his interviews, when he's explaining, like, oh, he dropped her off at this time, and then he looked, and then he said, love you too. Like, ew. He might
Yeah.
have said that to her, because her best friend said that they were FaceTiming all the time. He was continuously texting her throughout the day.
Yep. And I
So he
think
was
that
like
goes back.
hovering over her the entire time, and literally suffocating her.
Yep. Yep, in every sense of the word. And I think that's why she didn't want him to go to her school, because she didn't want people either A, to see her with him in the way he was, like, I love you, and maybe touchy feely or something when
Yeah.
he dropped her off, or B, see her talking to her friends, maybe a boy or something was her friend, and she didn't want him to see that. It's all
Yeah.
really
Yeah. When he
um
says, "Oh, I took Jen's car because she was embarrassed to be seen in my car," I think that's bullshit. I call bullshit.
yeah, I
Could it
do
be
too.
true? I mean, of course, we're just speculating. We're all just everybody's just putting all of this mountain of information together. We start to connect the dots. I think that maybe it was his idea, like because he when you're lying, it's really hard to add in details because your brain is working like overtime, making up this story
Right.
and to remember what you said. And he's a really good liar because he puts in so many details.
Right.
If you
And
if
they're
you
doing
listen to his interviews, oh yeah, she was rummaging through her bag, like looking for her headphones. Like, how would you even know that?
right.
So he
Right.
puts like so many details that at first glance you're like, wow, like I don't know, but I don't well, I forgot what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. But
You're good.
like, oh, because somebody said like Jen wasn't his type. A lot of men will just find a woman that's vulnerable because they have a kid and they want access to the child.
Yep, and I think he saw her coming from a mile away. I think he
Yeah.
saw how medicated she was and out of it she was, and then he laid eyes on Maddie, and he was like, "Yep, let me go on ahead and what's the word? Um, exploit the situation."
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And he's been with them for like 6, 7 years.
yep, and they haven't
And
been
and
innocent.
No, and they were like on and off as a couple, and they hadn't. I think the cop asked like, "When was the time did you guys sleep together or something?" And it was almost like 2 years prior, so they haven't been a couple for 2 years. And Jen is like, "Oh, he's my best friend. Oh, we're trying to get him to come back here." Like she's like, "I want to help him out, get back on his feet." And this bum, he keeps
Yep,
showing up. all the time.
Eating all the food, making Maddie uncomfortable. Yep,
Gross.
it is.
That's my 2 cents.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay. Have you ever, quote unquote, watched porn with him or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, Maddie, what medication did she take?
She was on an anxiety medication. So that because she suffers from really bad GI issues. She's constantly constipated. What else? She had an asthma inhaler. She had an asthma inhaler. I can't think of any other meds she was on.
Right there, she seems to get emotional, but why are you getting emotional about an asthma inhaler and not about the things that was happening to your child? Again, misplaced emotion. That's weird.
Can I just add something here real quick?
Oh yeah.
These interviews where we can't see her, and like I always say, like she never dropped one, she never cries, right? When she pretends to be crying, she goes hoo hoo hoo.
Yeah.
I said somewhere that she went to the Amber Heard School of Acting because when you start crying, your tears immediately run down your nose, and you get a sniffly nose. You get the sniffles. Pay
Right.
attention next time you cry, right? Like the tear duct, it drains through the nose. So as soon as you start crying, tears will run down your nose. Never once
Yep.
does she even sniffle.
Nope.
She never. I always say no sniffle, no red nose, no red face, no crying. Just going hoo hoo hoo, and that's not enough,
Yep.
you know. So she knows enough to pretend to be like, oh, she had an inhaler. Oh, my birthday. And then yeah, like I said, 2 seconds later she's like, yes, so like me and the Tamagotchis and like Stephen Stars, like she perks up immediately. It's like she's three
Yep.
different people talking. it's
Yep.
it's so fake, and this is why I think we're all so, I don't
Hard on her.
know.
Yeah, hard on
Yeah.
her. You can tell it's
and
fake.
and I understand, oh, trauma will affect people different ways, and heavy meds will make you act a certain way. That is true. But one thing that doesn't change: when you cry, your nose runs, your face gets red,
Yep.
your eyes get red, your nose gets red, you're sniffling. Even after your tears dried up, your nose is still running for a while, you
Right.
know? And
And
it's just no emotion.
right. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. And even the police pick up on it. It's not like, I understand that everybody deals with trauma differently, but it's not like I've had comments and things talking about grabbing the pitchforks and being Karens and things. I, even the police are asking her questions and are saying things like, why are your reaction to finding out that this man has been raping your child for 7 years, your reaction is to get him a lawyer immediately. Like, these things are not normal. So I don't think
Yeah.
it's out of the realm of possibility or would be an unreasonable by being upset with Jen, because nobody has that reaction, and even the police pick up on it. Like, again, everybody deals with trauma differently, but her reaction is unconventional, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. Paranormal polygraphs, like polygraphs apparently are not even accepted in court, like as evidence of a lie. Because at one point she says, I promise I'll take a polygraph. Like, if you're super smart and a really good liar, you can pass it.
Right. And with her being on mental health medication, they couldn't give her one anyway. You can't, if you're on mental health medication, they won't, the results would be off anyway. So she couldn't take a
Yeah.
polygraph if she wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that makes sense because it does change your affect. But like I said, I don't know. Remember that, was it Susan? Was it Susan Downs, the one that drowned her two little boys in a car, and she's trying, and now she's up for parole, and you
I
know that
remember,
story?
I know the story, but I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah, and she's been in prison for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And she's such a psycho, and she even smirks when she's talking. Oh, the boys loved me so. Oh, Susan Smith. Yeah, Diane Down. I don't wait. Both of these two women killed their kids. Susan Smith,
Yeah.
yeah, the one that drowned the boys. Oh my God, like, oh, I just. But
Yep.
when she did a TV interview with her husband next to her, and at first the husband believed her, right? Because this just came out of nowhere, and she's like, oh,
Yep.
a black man. It's always a person of color. Like, leave them alone,
Right. It is.
carjacked or whatever. And that husband, he was sitting on the couch, and that he was in shock because he sat there like a deer in headlights look, like frozen. He couldn't speak. His face just frozen. You could tell that man was in shock.
Yep. Because you
So like,
don't.
yes, people react, but and
Yeah.
it took him a while to finally come to terms that it was her. But he stopped defending her when he realized that it was the wife that killed their children. He stopped defending her, or I don't even know if he defended her at all. But and Jen, oh, yeah. So when she says, "Oh yeah, well the sex stuff is okay," but like I didn't think he would do anything evil. These are her words.
Right. Right. It's not normal.
It's infuriating.
It is. Like, regardless of the amount of medication you're on or how you deal with trauma, that shit is not normal in any sense of the
Yeah.
word, in my
Because if she
opinion.
was so shocked and traumatized that she actually believes that he had done absolutely no, let's pretend that she didn't know that Stephen Stearns did anything evil to her at all, never laid a finger on this girl, and she was completely in shock, and she just sat there like, huh, like deer in headlights. But if you
Yep.
say this guy has been doing this to your child and he possibly killed her, you would say I don't think you would be making excuses for him if you're in shock. You would be like, okay, so are you gonna when are you arresting him?
Right. Exactly. Like you said earlier, give a couple minutes for shock, but then, I mean, me
Yeah,
personally, I'm about to get up off that couch and I'm about to find
yeah.
this mug. Because,
And the cop's like, where did you look for her? I didn't look for her anywhere. Of course.
right.
So if you
Okay.
don't look for your child, so if she literally believed that Maddie was just missing and he had not done anything to her, like forget the sex stuff for now. If she actually
Right.
believed that he hadn't killed her and he really did drop her off at school and she really did go missing, and like she said, oh, somebody picked her up, somebody kidnapped her, wouldn't you go looking?
Right.
Wouldn't you go in all the stores in the area that maybe she walked in for like a donut or like a slushie or whatever, and be like, did you see this girl? Did you see this girl? Have you seen this kid?
Mhm.
Have you seen my daughter? Can I put this poster up here? You
Yep.
would do something.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
I would.
Cheyenne. Yeah, she's like, oh, after you. Yeah, she's like, well, you can't find her. She didn't take her phone. She didn't have a computer. Ah, I've called all her friends. Nobody knows anything. Well, I just stay home and wait for her to come home. That's it.
Right. It's ridiculous.
There's no defending this woman. There's no defending her. Just
Yeah, I don't think there is either. It's like she already knew the outcome, so she acted appropriately to the outcome she already knew was going to happen. She was just waiting for them to find her. In my opinion,
yeah,
again,
yeah,
speculation.
yeah.
Yep.
We're all just speculating. People, don't come for us.
I try to put it in my banner so people won't come for us.
Allegedly
Yeah,
speculating. That's it.
that's what my channel's about, though. It's about speculation. So, all right, I'm gonna
Yeah,
play
the
this.
guilty. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, say what you wanted to say. Sub Rosa, the guilty.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Sub Rose, you're right. The guilty parents or spouse, they always have a story that's about them.
Yep.
And then the innocent parents or the innocent spouse, they're actually doing something to find, and they're worried about the person. I mean, look at Chris Watts. Oh yeah, they're gone. I don't know. Any
Yep.
of these guilty people that committed the crime that killed someone in their family. Oh, I don't know. I'm just here, mind my own business.
Right. Not doing a damn thing because you already know the outcome, in my opinion.
Does she take that medicine to school with her?
The asthma.
Hey, I'm gonna let this play. I've got to just go tinkle real quick. I'll be right back.
Asthma medication, yes. The asthma medication, yes. Goes to school, and the anxiety meds, we give it to her when she's at home.
How does she react to this medicine?
No,
Like, how does her body react?
fine.
Okay.
No side effects. No, nothing weird.
Okay. And she takes it in the morning or at night?
Or probably in the afternoon or evening time close to bed. We use it mostly for sleep aid. That would be given to her at night. The asthma medication was used, and the GI medication was given.
Okay. And then medication that you take.
Me?
Yeah.
I take brand name for bipolar medication. I take anxiety medication. I'm also prescribed
Sorry for all those redactions. I know it's annoying.
I had gastric sleeve surgery a few years ago, so I'm vitamin deficient. So they give me some high doses of medications to keep my vitamins balanced. I think that's it.
Okay. All right. So going back to the morning that Stefan takes her to school, you said you think it's around 8 o'clock when you physically see Stefan messing with the dog?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't see Maddie anywhere?
I don't.
Okay. When Maddie gets dressed for school, like now that I've seen the inside of the house, it looks like a majority of her clothes are in that little partitioned area in the living room.
Yeah.
Does she have clothes anywhere else? Like where would she put clothes to wear to school the next day?
Where would she get dressed? She would get dressed in her bedroom right there, that little nook in the living room. All her clothes are there. When she takes off her clothes, her dirty laundry hamper is typically in my bathroom downstairs, and she'll just dump it in the basket. But there is no basket there right now. She's been dumping everything on the floor. I think the basket is currently being used with clean clothes. So I just wanted to keep the clean clothes and the dirty clothes separated. So dirty clothes are on the floor right now. What's in the basket should be like half clean, half dirty clothes, I think. Yeah.
Okay. When you go to sleep, when you were sleeping that night, was your door open or shut?
It is left cracked open.
Cracked open. Okay. Would you see or hear Maddie going to get changed?
I would say yes, but if I weren't deep asleep, and I think I was deep asleep because I didn't hear anything until Stefan came and woke me up to try to get the dog.
Okay, so he woke you up to help with the dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so you...
Sorry, I was muted. Again, the long pause. I'm going to show you, because I did save the pictures on here of Madeline's nook, just in case you haven't seen it. So let me pull that up real quick. This is the child's room. And keep in mind, they're living in a house where Jennifer's dad, Madeline's grandfather, owns the house. And they've got her sleeping in this nook. Oh, okay. That's the tattoo. We were trying to figure out if it's a crest on his back. And that's where I was showing that it's a crest. So let me go the other way. Like if I come in and I saw my granddaughter staying in a room in something like this, I would have a problem with it. Like, here's the couch. Like, where people are just hanging out. Is this the couch that Stefan stayed on and was constantly sitting on the couch and made her feel uncomfortable, where he can peek through the things? Because there's not even a curtain here. Like, it's so infuriating.
Yeah, and about the bedroom, according to Jen, she said that this house I don't know if this townhouse belongs to her father or her stepfather, but they were all paying rent, and apparently, according to that, her father or whatever wanted rent for for room number 4. So that's why Maddie couldn't have her own room. And
Yeah, but
I'm thinking maybe
go
she
ahead.
couldn't afford to pay rent because she was on disability and never worked because sleep, meds, all she wanted to do was take a pill and go to sleep. But
Right.
and I think, one, did the grandfather actually not care about Maddie? Be like, no, if you want if you want her to use the room, you have to pay for it. I don't know. Or maybe
I don't.
rent. Maybe Jen just didn't give a damn.
Well, my number one, my mod, Jenny Jen has brought up the fact that she could have put that bed in her room with her, and then Maddie
Exactly.
in this area. I mean, you can see through this right here. And number
Yeah.
two, she was asked how much the renters pay for rent. One of them paid $650, one of them paid $850. Like, evidently the rent, that tells me that the rent is negotiable. Okay.
Yeah.
So could you not, like, maybe charge more for somebody else staying there, or again, at least put her bed in your room with you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the other live, we talked about this in the chat where she has a freaking king size bed,
Yep.
and she couldn't, like, maybe another bed wouldn't fit. Bruh, sell that king size bed, buy 2 twin beds, and then put Maddie in your room. And then
Right.
maybe put a little curtain on the corner so she has her little, like a little corner for herself. But at
Yeah.
least it's in your room.
Right, where she's safe. You could
You
put the
know,
dividers you already have in there.
I need a good night's sleep in a king size bed with a nervous dog apparently who will pee if you look at him crooked. And then,
Yeah.
your daughter's like, oh, whatever, just go upstairs, just go out. Like, no concern at all.
Right. It's devastating. Good morning, Sheila. Good morning, Andrea. Yeah, it's weird. It's sad.
You didn't hear tussling around or wrestling around in the kitchen that made you wake up to go help.
No. It was him. He came directly into my room and grabbed the dog, and I got up. I shot up to try to help him. It was until later that after that.
That's another great point. Andrea says, or give Jen the weird partitioned room. Exactly. It's another great point.
That's when I heard rustling in the kitchen.
Hi, Helen.
So he takes the dog out, took a potty or whatever it may be, and he comes back inside. Do you see him when he comes back inside?
Who has to think that long? Did you see him that morning come back inside or not? Why are you have to, that, I don't understand that. I mean, did you see him or not? Goodness gracious.
Okay. Do you remember him leaving, saying bye to you or anything like that when he's taking Maddie to school?
I don't think so. I think at this point I was already back deep asleep.
Great point, Anders.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure when he went to walk the dog and left, I fell right back asleep immediately.
Okay. Now you go back to sleep. You wake up because you have a doctor appointment to go get blood drawn or something like that.
Yeah.
And you told me your appointment was around 10 or something like that, 9, 10?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I think it was 10:15.
Good morning, Jennifer. And Morak, I'm not sure how to say your name.
Yes, it was at 10:15.
Okay. So you go to this appointment, and on your way back, did you talk to Stefan on the phone at all?
Trying to remember the script, like Cozy said.
I know I talked to him while I was in the parking lot waiting for my blood work to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't recall if I called him on my way home as well. It would seem like I would do that, but I just can't 100% tell you if I did do that or not.
Okay. At what time did you and him meet back up here?
So I got back from my blood work appointment anytime between, I'll say 11:15, 11:30, so sometime around that time.
And was he already here?
Yes.
Okay. What did you guys talk about when you got home?
What happened this?
Helen, I'm not going to read that comment out loud, but you did remind me of something. We have gone over the issue of if she was with child or not, and somebody told me in a comment section that her father, her biological father, who would have access to the autopsy report, said that she was not with child. Um, if that's true, then there's possibility for other motives that we've talked about here. But again, like with the sheriff and the judge situation and the things that could have possibly been going on with his daughter, if it was my child and all of these things have been happening, and like from the dad's perspective, I truly believe he didn't know and he had no idea. I would not want my daughter's memory to be that that she was with child or something. So I would probably say she wasn't, even if she was. Now, I'm not saying that's what he did at all. I'm going to go with she wasn't with child. Again, because the best friend said that she did eventually start her monthly cycle like a couple weeks after they thought it was late. So there's other theories. I think if we're going with that she was not with child, then the fact that Stefan had just started coming back to hang out again, I think maybe she told him that she didn't want this anymore, like she was done with it. Not that she ever wanted it to begin with, but she was done with it and she didn't want him doing that to her anymore. And I think he might have flipped out and was like, but you're mine, we're supposed to get married when you turn 18 and all these things, and I love you so much. And he flipped out and did what he did. Or Jennifer really didn't know anything, caught him and snapped. I don't know, something to that effect. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning to all the new people that have come in since I've been talking. And the crush, yeah, she was talking about she had a crush on a boy at school. That could have infuriated him again, going on the, well, I love you, you're mine, we're supposed to be married when you turn 18. What are you doing? This is not how I planned your life to be. You're not falling in line to all the grooming and all the things that I've done to make sure that all of these things happen. It's just, that's a good theory, I think.
This morning,
What do you say? What happened this morning?
he's like, we had a good morning. We made really good time. Maddie got.
Yeah, the pregnancy test being under the bathroom and them not knowing where the tests were if some were missing is suspicious to me. Y'all are right about that. That is suspicious. And it could again lead to it being that and her dad just not wanting that out there. There's a lot of possibilities or motives. We'll find out in court what it was. But until then, we can share our opinions and speculate.
Ready super quick. We were out the door super quickly. I was super impressed with our time. I tried convincing Maddie to go have McDonald's breakfast a few times, but she changed her mind and decided she didn't want to. She just wanted to sleep in the car. And the thing is, the night before, we had discussed, oh, Maddie, maybe he should leave a little bit earlier than normal so that you can go get breakfast with him at McDonald's. That would be a really cool day to start a Monday right after your birthday, having McDonald's at breakfast. And she's like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So they were supposed to have gone to McDonald's, but he told me they didn't. He told me he had left his phone because I had, no, he had already told me this earlier that he had left his phone. What else did he talk to me about? We sat in my room for a while, hung out. He discussed having to reset his phone even though he didn't want to, or no, not reset his phone. He discussed needing to update his phone because he's been avoiding an update for so long. But I think it's time to do it. And I said, just do it. Stop avoiding it. Just do it. And he started the update. And then through the update, he's like, oh my God, I don't know what button I pressed, but I just factory erased my entire phone. And I said, that was stupid. How'd you manage to do that? He goes, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention and I just clicked the button and it happened. And I said, oh, okay, that's unfortunate.
Again, and you didn't find that suspicious? If I asked my man to see his phone just on a sunny Wednesday and he master resets it, I'm gonna have some problems, period. But your child is missing. He's the last one to have seen her, and he master resets his phone. I think I'm gonna be calling the police and gonna be like, we need to look into this or something.
Yeah, and that doesn't even happen when he said he had to update his phone but accidentally reset it. You can't, because when you reset your phone, it asks you a bunch of times, like, are you sure? Like, you have to put in your PIN or like your fingerprint, right? Because the phone wants to make sure that you're not doing it by accident. And he's like, oh, I don't know what I did. And the cop was like, well, tell me exactly what you did. He's like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I was in a fog, or whatever his dumbass excuse was.
Yep.
And then, did you notice how her intonation when she says right there? She's like, because she's going to the script, right? She goes, oh, no, they were never married. They weren't even dating anymore. But he was her BFF. Can you replay just this little bit again, like when she talks about the phone?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. Just this little bit where she's explaining. Cause I just want to pick up on that intonation that she said.
Okay, yeah, you're good. I'm gonna go back a minute.
He should leave a little bit earlier than normal so that you can go get breakfast with him at McDonald's. That would be a really cool day to start a Monday right after your birthday, having McDonald's at breakfast. And she's like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So they were supposed to have gone to McDonald's, but he told me they didn't. He told me he had left his phone because I had no, he had already told me this earlier, that he had left his phone. What else did he talk to me about?
Come on, Jen, think of the script. Go ahead.
In my room for a while, hung out.
Right.
He discussed having to reset his phone even though he didn't want to, or no, not reset.
Right here.
He discussed needing to
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, play. It's right here. Pay attention to the intonation of her voice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pause it, but she just had a Freudian slip too, because she was saying that he didn't want to reset his phone, but he had to. That's a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Update his phone because he's been avoiding an update for so long. But I think it's time to do it. And I said, just do it. Stop avoiding it. Just do it. And he started the update. And then through the update, he's like, oh my God, I don't know what button I pressed, but I just factory erased my entire phone. And I said, that was stupid. How'd you manage to do that? He goes, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention and I just clicked the button and it happened.
Okay.
And I said, oh,
okay, the way she even says this. Oh no, I don't know what I did. I reset my phone. Oh, how'd you do that? Oh, no, that's unfortunate. Like her, and yeah, I think his deception detective, when he is examining people's statements, he's a statement analysis. That's what he does. And then he says, when it's a real story, we tend to think that if you're telling a real story, you're going to tell it exactly the same every single time. And that's not true, because if you pay attention, her story and his story, like they stick to that script, and it's like almost it's pretty much verbatim.
Yep.
Even if you could like put his story and her like side to side, like side by side, they are saying exactly the same thing. So it's a script. Because if I were to tell the story of what happened in the morning, that something happened, and someone else in my household, we would tell different stories. Because I'm telling you from my point of view, you're telling it from your point of view. You know what I mean? And then in a real story, in a real situation, every time that you retell, you kind of remember other little details.
Yep.
And because we think like, oh no, if I tell the truth, you have to say exactly the same. No, if you're lying and you memorize the scripts like they did, they stick to it verbatim. And
Yep.
when you're, if it's true, you, oh yeah, I remember now, there was this thing that happened. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't like this, it was like that. So it's, I mean, the cops are onto her, you know,
Yep.
they know, they knew from the get-go. The cops have to be like, have a poker face and be like, uh-huh, right, yeah, so then what happened, because they have to be like really soft so the person doesn't feel threatened, so they don't shut down immediately and get a lawyer, you know, so they can't like press the person right away. And the more you let them talk, the more they just dig themselves into a hole. So
Yep.
yeah, the Trezell West. Yeah, it's every time it's exact same story. The exact same story. It's like not one little oh, I remember this detail, you know?
Yep.
Except for Stephen Stearns, because when the cops were like, oh, you said you were here this time, but on camera we have you going south or north or whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I apologize. I forgot my clicker. Yeah, I had to go back for the clicker, you know? So
Yep.
he just kept changing and adding details when the cops were calling him out on his lies. But it's all scripted, man. You can tell by the tone of voice.
Yep.
It's not how
Um,
someone talks, oh, that's unfortunate. How did you do that? Oh, I don't know.
right. And the way she says, like, instead of saying I misremembered, she's like, just kidding, just kidding. Like, that shit's weird as fuck to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss y'all.
Yeah, no, I've heard people say that. Instead of saying like, "Oh no, just kidding," and instead of saying like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant," like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, I didn't mean that." Like, I have heard that, but that is extremely rare.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know, like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant to say," instead of, and you go like, "Oh, that's just kidding." Like, I have heard people say that. Maybe once in my lifetime. That's extremely rare. That might be just like a dialectal thing, like a personal oh, I forgot the word. Like everybody speaks in a like you use specific
Different
words,
dialect.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a term for this. How you have your own idiolect. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's called an idiolect. Like I say like a lot. Chris Watts is like a lot. It's annoying, but you know.
Mm-hmm. You're good.
But and she's like, oh, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Or when she says, I want to say 8 o'clock. But if you pay attention to the, if you listen to the other interviews, I was listening on their channel, they had the guy that called the cops on Stephen Stearns when he was doing his tire, and someone else, I think the teachers, they, if when the cops said like, what time did this happen, they would say, I want to say 8 o'clock. Like that doesn't necessarily mean that you're lying, you know, like this
Right.
expression, like I want to say, it means that, like, I want to say it was eight, I want to say it was 8 o'clock because you're not really sure, you know.
Right. Right. Or if they
So
come and show that you're lying, you can cover it by saying, well, I thought that I wasn't sure. Real quick, I wanted to tell Eek, thank you for gifting the memberships. And if y'all got a membership, please tell her thank you. And good morning, Creole. And there was somebody else, Paul, I think. Good morning. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that was all. That was it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
Um,
Or did he tell you he meant to reset his phone?
no, he didn't tell me he meant to reset his phone. He acted like and said that it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that odd?
Of course, I find that fucking odd. That's suspicious as hell. That
Have you ever reset any kind of phone?
me, I have no idea how to do that.
Okay. Have you ever had to do an update on a phone?
I think so. On these phones, yeah. Sometimes it will ask me to just continue on with the update. And do I remember it ever asking me to erase? No.
Got it. Okay.
But he's got a Samsung. I have Apple, so I don't know if there is a difference or not. So.
All right. Now that you mentioned phones, so Maddie had a phone.
Yeah.
And explain to me what her attachment is to her phone.
Her phone is her lifeline. That's how she talks to all of her friends. That's how she talks to any of us. She's constantly on video chat with her best friend, or talking to them, or playing video games with them. But she's on her phone pretty often. What exactly would you like to know about her phone?
So, at one point you told either a deputy or officer or detectives that sometimes she leaves her phone at home when she goes to school.
Yeah.
How often do you think that is?
I would say once every few weeks. It happens a lot. Like for me, that's a lot. She has ADHD. She's very forgetful. She'll set something down and completely forget where she said it later.
Mm-hmm.
Where I found her phone was on her dresser. So I'm assuming she placed it there while she was getting ready and completely forgot about it, got ready, grabbed her backpack, and left. But it was on the dresser in front of her TV. But for me, that's a normal thing for her to forget her phone.
Mm-hmm. Now, when
So she just stated that she was attached to her phone, but it's normal for her to forget her phone. And like Ivana said, roommates said Madeline was not attached to the phone, but here she says she is. Welcome, Ivana. Good to see you again.
do you remember what time she went to bed on Sunday?
I sent them to bed around 11 o'clock.
Okay. Did you see him or her anytime after that other than in the morning? Or talk to them? Either via text or yell through the walls or...
No, nothing like that. If anything, Stefan may have come down to use the restroom.
Why wouldn't he use the restroom upstairs?
Because our roommate does not like sharing. Our roommate does not like sharing bathrooms with men, and she asked that we don't use that bathroom, or that he doesn't use that bathroom specifically. So we've respected her wishes, and he's been using my bathroom this whole time.
Okay. Were you supposed to work Monday?
No, I was off.
Okay. What about Tuesday?
Off. Wednesday, I was supposed to work.
And you told me you work at the front desk at Coronado Springs at Disney.
Yes.
How long have you worked there?
Less than a week.
Okay. Did you work anywhere prior to that?
I was a substitute teacher for Kelly Education.
And how long did you do that?
Maybe a month or two. Not very long. And then before that, I've been unemployed. I've been living off disability, essentially. I'm disabled.
Okay. Why are you disabled? From what?
I have a bunch of things. Primarily PTSD.
From what?
So PTSD.
You're
Bipolar
funny,
2,
Cozy.
generalized anxiety, ADHD. I think that's pretty much it with my psychiatric stuff.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, what happened with...
I went on a date with a guy I had met.
Was this before Stefan or...
Yes.
Okay.
This was way before. It was a few years before Stefan, or maybe the year before Stefan. But
Yeah, Cozy says she only worked as a sub for 2 months. Chris Stearns, Stephen Stearns' dad stated that she never would keep a job for very long, which is another symptom of bipolar, but he said it's because she didn't want to lose that disability.
Yeah, can I just talk about that? Like if you have really bad bipolar disorder or other personality or mental, I mean that's not a personality disorder, but like, mental disorders like ADHD and heavy depression and severe anxiety, like that can make it really hard to keep a job. If you can't concentrate, your emotions are all over the place, because ADHD is also responsible for emotional deregulation, not just bipolar. Yeah, we all have generalized anxiety. Like, how many of us have been traumatized, and how many of us have been abused? I'm pretty sure at least half of everybody here in the live has, and trauma from many reasons. And I'm not saying like, oh, just because I can do it, you can do it, because we have a tendency to say that. Some people's situations are worse. And I get that there was one, it was her ex-husband, Stephen, who was, I think, the only positive male influence in Maddie's life. They were married for like 2 years, and
Uh-huh.
he had a child. He had a daughter the same age as Maddie too. Like he was really, what is that guy is really smart. What did he see in Jen? I'm sorry, like he
Yeah.
was just reaching for low hanging fruit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just she doesn't seem like she has a person that has a lot to offer. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then they got divorced because her mental situation, health was so bad that she didn't do anything at home. And he did mention, like he doesn't talk smack about her. He's just like telling a story. He was actually a pretty nice guy. And he was saying how she was having a hard time nailing down a medication that would help. And I get that. I've lived through that my entire life, 20 years trying to find correct medication. I've tried like a dozen different medications and different diagnoses until you get to the right thing. But that can affect your job performance for sure.
Right.
That might be the reason why she can't hold down a job. If you can't concentrate, you're super anxious, you can't focus, you're foggy, your emotional is all over the place. I understand that, but the way she talks about her life, it's like she's not even really trying that hard, maybe.
Right.
you
Yeah,
know
I could.
and
Yeah,
with a child, like you should be like, I have to make this work because I have a child to raise. I have to be responsible. I don't
right.
know. We're just speculating and
Yeah,
just, like, well, the judgment isn't real. Well, you know what, Darla, we're just putting two and two together here. And I do agree that sometimes we can be harsh, but I do feel bad for her. I feel bad for Stephen Stearns. Give me a minute to explain. I feel bad for him because he's a human being who could have turned out to be a good person. Instead, he chose to be a piece of crap. Like
right.
wasted potential. I do feel bad
Right.
for every psychopath that turns out to be a piece of crap and a monster because they could have chosen to be a good person. But at one point, everybody has their difficulties in life that are different, and everybody has potential. But at one point, don't you have to be like, no, I don't want to do this. This is wrong.
Right.
Everybody has free will to choose right from wrong. And uh, raping someone is wrong. Nobody doesn't know that.
Right. All the
Be- you
pictures.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was taking photographs of the roommate from the door. The poor
Mhm.
woman, she was like, "What?" The cop said, I have to show you this. This is really shocking." But he was photographing you nude in your bedroom, so he's a perv. Who knows what
Yeah.
else he was doing? So, I mean, we're judging her, yeah, but we're just calling it like it is. Did she have difficulties, real difficulties with her mental issues? Yes. She said she had a gastric bypass. So did she have health problems? Probably insecurity because she was overweight. Yeah, I do feel bad for her on that. Did she have a terrible relationship with her mom? I feel bad. Not everybody has a good relationship with their parents. That sucks. But
Right.
all of that, two things can be true at once. All of that is one thing, but not protecting your child and being obsessed with your meds. I get that maybe she was obsessed with her meds, like, oh, I finally found something that helps me and I have to like make sure I take this correctly. And yeah, she does need her sleep. We do need to sleep to have a good night's sleep to function, but she's putting all of this above Maddie. She's like, oh, Maddie was my entire life. Bull crap. She did nothing for that girl.
Yeah, the thing
She
that really
didn't
got
even
me.
have a room.
Right. And the thing that really told me about Jen's demeanor was she's talking in the video interview with the police, and she said that people approached her in the stores and she could not deal with their emotions. Their emotions were too heavy for her and she had to go back home. Now, I could understand that with what was going on, okay? But I have to question, did you tell Madeline that? Is that something that was stated a lot, that you couldn't deal with other people's problems, emotions, and feelings because it was too heavy on you? And is that like, did Madeline feel like she couldn't talk to you? Was that some of the reason for the conflicts and things like that? Again, it's showing that Jen is more concerned about her feelings and her emotions and the heavy weight of other people's things and not dealing with that, instead of sitting down and trying to take your child's emotions into consideration and talk to them and get them through whatever hardship they're having.
Yeah. I can understand if your kid goes missing or whatever, and then you run into people at the store and you're like, oh my gosh, what about that? I can understand, like, oh, I don't want to have to keep rehashing this with everybody and strangers. Like, I get it. What is not excusable is she has no emotions for Maddie. She had no connections with that child. She did nothing to protect the child, and not only did she not protect her, but she just handed her to him on a silver platter. Like, yeah, I sent them to bed. What is that? I sent them to bed? And then you put
Yep.
your child in your bedroom, in your bed, because, oh, she can't sleep alone. And then,
Right.
but then you let this crusty deadbeat bum sleep in your bed with you, and you wake up in the middle of the night and he's wearing boxers and he's got, a boner, and he's cuddling your daughter, and yet
Right.
nothing's wrong about that. And then she goes, oh, I was afraid of a Woody Allen situation. Like I said to him, you can't do this to me. These are her words. I'm quoting her. I know everything she said by heart by now. I've seen it so many times. you
Yeah.
know, she goes, you can't do that to me, to you, or you can't do that to my daughter.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That's what we are judging. We're not judging her having health problems or like mental problems, or like I keep saying like, oh, my meds. I'm not judging her for taking meds. I need meds. Most of us here, half of us here have to take meds and whatever. That's not what we're judging her. We're judging her for not taking care of her daughter, for putting her in harm's way, for not doing the bare minimum. All she cared about was, like, we were talking about her money, right? She couldn't hold down a job. That's how I got derailed on this. She couldn't hold down a job.
Right.
Um, and I think uh, she's living off disability. She had an iPhone. She mentioned that she also had an Apple Watch. I don't know if Maddie also had an Apple Watch or not, but these things are expensive. And she
Yeah.
had a nice car.
Yeah, regardless, even the police are picking up that things don't make sense. So it's not just us being mean or hateful. I mean, the police are picking up on a lot of things that don't make sense. And just her wording, you can tell she can't fake care for somebody
No.
that, in my opinion, she doesn't, at least doesn't care about enough, like you should, for your child. And finding out all of these horrible things have been happening, the apathy in reference to finding out this information is telling, and it, even the police pick up on it.
Yeah, I
So
wonder if maybe that's like a personality disorder. I'm not an expert. We're just speculating, right? We're just trying to figure this out. Like, I wonder if maybe she did have a personality disorder where she just had no empathy. That's antisocial behavior.
yeah.
That's where sociopaths and psychopaths and narcissists, it's antisocial behavior, which is you have no empathy for someone, because she shows zero empathy for Maddie, and that
Right.
is not the medications numbing her down.
Right, because she shows emotion when they talk about Stefan. Her voice gets higher. She shows emotion with that, but
She
not
perks
Madeline.
up. Yeah,
Yep.
she's not just talking in this flat affect, and then she's like, oh, it's my birthday, hoo, 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 hoo. Like,
Yep.
so you can feel sad for something. Oh, it's my
Right.
worst birthday. It's your worst birthday. What about your daughter? She was raped and murdered and tossed in the
Right.
trash, you know?
Right.
So this is why we get on her case, because yeah, that's totally narcissistic.
Yep.
You just care about yourself. Everything is everybody else's fault. You're the victim. Poor me. I do nothing wrong. Me, and no empathy for anybody else.
Right. Yep.
That has nothing to do with medication or bipolar disorder or depression or anxiety or trauma, because I don't know. I think if you have, like, if you deal with a lot of trauma and and PTSD,
PTSD. Yeah.
I think that would make you have even more empathy for people, because you've suffered so much that you don't want someone else to suffer too.
Right.
She just didn't care. That's it. She doesn't care.
In our opinions, yep, I agree.
Met a guy at a car dealership who interviewed me for a job. I turned the job down, and he said, "Oh, great, I can't date my employees." And I said, "Oh, what do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, I want to take you out on a date." And I said, "Oh, wow, I've never been asked out on a date in person before." And we went out on a date. He got really drunk. We got back to his place.
This part is redacted, and I'm sorry that she went through this. This is a horrible situation, and I hate that anybody would have to go through something like that and deal with that. However, when we talk about Madeline, that's what the focus is on, the things that she was going through and dealing with, and the fact that with all of the evidence, there's no way she didn't know. Even the police don't believe it. Like, you can tell, like somebody, I can't remember who, just said she got him a lawyer immediately after finding out that there was CSA pictures on his phone. She called his dad, excuse me, to get him a lawyer. Like, that's not a reaction. Like I said, I'm not getting a lawyer. I might catch a death charge, but not a lawyer, because I'm coming.
All right.
If you didn't work, what would your typical day look like?
My entire day was focused around Maddie.
On a normal basis?
I would wake up first thing in the morning, make sure she was ready, make her breakfast, get her backpack and water bottle ready. I just taken lunch, get her some lunch ready. This is me doing this while she's getting ready. Walk the dog. Come back, make sure she takes all her medications before school.
Sorry. I was trying to do that and it wouldn't work. I'm sorry, y'all.
Take her to school, come back. I typically have a bunch of doctor's appointments to go to often, so I'm either at doctor's appointments. If I'm not at doctor's appointments, I'm just here at home, probably napping, resting, just waiting until it's time to pick her up from school again. She was my entire, like, everything I did was, my everyday was for her.
Did Stefan know about your doctor appointment on Monday? Did you tell him what your plans were on Sunday?
I'm not sure when I told him. I must have told him Sunday night, yeah, or Sunday, because there's no way I could have told him Monday morning if he didn't have his phone on him, and I didn't really talk to him that morning.
Where'd you meet him?
We both worked at a real estate office off of I Drive somewhere. They're called Eco Homes. I don't think they exist anymore though. The Eco Home Company. I think he was a real estate agent for them or did warranty work for them. And I was an appointment setter. And I didn't have that job for very long. I got fired. It was right after my PTSD incident. I couldn't hold down a job at all.
So when you and Stefan would hang out, say Maddie's at school and you two wanted to hang out, or the three of you wanted to hang out, like what would you guys do? Like where would you go? Or
primarily Disney. We have Disney annual pass holders. We both worked for Disney at one point. Well, at least he worked out there at one point. I still work there. But we go to Disney. We go to Disney, or we stay at home and like they would play board games, or we'd watch. Well, we loved watching movies. We would always have family time, just watch a new movie. Like I felt like it was one of our projects to make sure that she watched all the good movies from the 80s.
We do this too with our kids, like Little Giants, all the Now and Then, all the good movies from the 80s. But somebody, I wanted to say good morning. I think it's Anatola. And Cozy asked, if you work for Disney, do you get a free pass? I would think so. Like maybe that's a thing. Like if you work there, you get passes to go for free. I could see that being a thing. Yeah, the Sister Act. We haven't watched that one yet. Actually, I heard this and I was like, they need to watch Sister Act. We watched all like Casper with Christina Ricci in it, Now and Then, like all the good movies from back then. They were good movies. Actually, me and my husband just watched Romancing the Stone. I had never seen that, so we saw it last weekend. It was pretty good. Good morning to all the new faces in here. Tom and Vicky and JJ, good morning. Thank you for being here. Nanny Goat.
80s and 90s that we watched grew up watching. I just wanted her to like have the knowledge of pop culture. So last movie we watched with her was Sister Act.
When was that?
Sunday night.
Like, would you go out to like eat anywhere, like a favorite restaurant or anything like that?
The only restaurant I think we frequented a handful of times in the last year is La Mexicana. It's on off of Columbia. Honestly, living on disability and then his income at Disney, like it wasn't enough to survive.
Good morning, Angel.
We really didn't eat out often. We couldn't afford it.
Would you go like visit any parks or other than not Disney parks, but like neighborhood parks or anything like that?
No, we'd hang out right here at this lake. Maddie really liked hanging out at this lake and just drawing, sitting on one of the benches and drawing. Any other park? No, not really.
Now, what if it was just you and him, say going out on a date or what?
So Darla, I'm not sure exactly, like if you're saying if she was faking it, she's sad or dumb at the wrong times. I want to reference like when she was talking about the asthma inhaler, she got really upset and like almost started crying, but then she talks about, you know, the images and things like that, and it's no emotion at all. I think that's like what we're trying to reference. Like I agree that she sat at the wrong times and playing dumb at the wrong times about things that she should definitely know. Like, did you see somebody that morning or not? I'm not sure if that's exactly what you were saying, but that's my opinion and thought on that. Good morning, Content Angel. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Where would you guys typically go?
So,
Good morning,
due to money,
JJ.
hardly ever went out on a date. Honestly, we hardly went out on dates. There's only one date I can think of that we went on, and that was like years ago at the beginning of our relationship where we went to Disney Springs. I went to the Edison. I don't think we've had many date nights, just him and me. It's always been the three of us doing something, going to dinner, going to Disney Springs.
Darla, I could see that, and I respect your thought process on that and opinion. I could see it. I could understand that for sure. Good morning, Jen of Eve. Good morning, Jen of Eve. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
We visit Disney Springs sometimes, often, well, not often, but sometimes. We really liked that restaurant, Deluxe Burger. Really good. She really enjoyed it there.
Now, the dynamic between you three. I know you told me that sometimes you and her would sleep in the bed.
Yeah.
Sometimes the three of you would sleep in the bed. And then sometimes you would send him and her to a bedroom so you could get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
How long has that been going on?
Okay, so
Good morning, Muladek. I just wanted to pause here and reference again the ex-girlfriend of Stefan from Disney said that he couldn't spend the night with her even though they were having relations, but he could not stay the night because he had to go home and cozy with Maddie. She needed to be cuddled, as sick as that sounds. So you could never spend the night with your ex-girlfriend because you needed to go cuddle Maddie. But she's saying it only happened like a handful of times. Again, it doesn't make sense. That's conflicting statements. Good morning, Florida girl.
I'm going to say back in June. It was primarily the three of us sleeping in bed together all the time.
And why? How did that start?
Maddie has always slept in the bed with me.
Mm-hmm.
She's always slept in my room. Only when we lived in that apartment in Northport did she have her own bedroom, and we could afford for her to have her own room. So that was the only time she's actually had her own room. Here, she's always shared a room with me. When she was a baby, she had her own bedroom here for a few years. But once she got older and we started having roommates and all that stuff, she started just staying with me in my bedroom. Stefan, during the times that we did live with Stefan, it would be the three of us in this bed down here, down in the master bedroom. It wasn't until June of last year that we had broken up, and I said, okay, I don't want to sleep in the same bed with you. Please move upstairs.
Jen, I haven't heard of KBS syndrome. I don't know what that is. Let us know in chat. I know what Munchausen by proxy is, which that would reference the Gypsy Rose situation, but I don't know. I've never heard of KBS syndrome.
Can I jump in real quick? I just Googled that. Kluver-Bucy syndrome. I've never heard of it either, Genevieve. This is interesting. It says it's a rare neuropsychiatric disorder due to lesions affecting bilateral temporal lobes, especially the hippocampus and amygdala. It is characterized by hyperorality. Orality. There we go. Like, I guess talking too much, oral. Hypermetamorphosis. I have no idea. Hypersexuality. Bulimia, placidity, like being very like you have no spine, visual agnosia, and amnesia. She doesn't, I mean, I'm not an expert, right? But she doesn't seem to have these symptoms.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not diagnosing her. I'm not a doctor. We're just speculating.
Yeah, I could see that being an issue. I could see it. It's possible. Personally, I could see that. I know with frontal lobe issues, it causes people, like a lot of times serial killers will have had head trauma to the frontal lobe. It makes you go back to primal instincts, and if there is some kind of frontal lobe issue, or if she has that syndrome, then again it would make her go back, not necessarily to primal, but like not able to show emotion like she's supposed to. So I could see it. Thank you, Eek, for gifting 20 memberships. That was so nice. If you guys got a membership from her, please make sure to tell her thank you. Thank you again, Eek. You're so awesome.
Yeah, and like Stephen Stearns, he was like run over by a car or whatever. Apparently he had like 2 head traumas per his parents. So that might explain why he's like a man child. Because like, he like, there's nothing wrong with liking your childhood toys, but like that was his life. He never even tried to get a job. He wanted Tamagotchis and lightsabers. Like when the cop is like, "What kind of pictures did you have in your phone?" He's like Disney lightsabers, trading cards, blah, like children stuff and children. I mean, disgusting.
Yep. We went through his Reddit, and all he posted in teen forums, Am I the Asshole forums, and the rest of it was Tamagotchi, that Lacarena, all that kind of stuff. Just obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that would be okay, but also like get a job, man. You're like 38. Yeah, Arrested Development, which is not an excuse to be a predator.
Right.
That's a choice. You know, that's a decision that you make to abuse someone. Like that's a choice.
Somebody said, please let. I don't know what you wanted me to let, but there's the link if somebody wants to join me. I just dropped it again in chat. If somebody wants to join us. Yeah, I think there could have been some damage to his frontal lobe, but again, if you have, I, I think I said it before, I'm not sure. If you have these urges, I would think and hope and pray that you would seek help, not seek a child. And I'll leave that at that. Good morning, Nanny Goat. Good morning, Tracy Freeman. I think I said hey to you, Nanny, but good morning again.
At this point, Maddie pretty much slept with me all the time. I think I can count. Maybe on one hand how many times she's gone upstairs to sleep with him alone, because I wasn't comfortable with it. I was like, no, this, it doesn't look right. Like, it just doesn't seem right. Like, I'm not comfortable with it. Maddie, you got to sleep with me. And I've told them that. But there are times that they beg for sleepovers. Like, please, we just want to stay up late watching movies. And I would be too tired to stay up late. So I would say, fine, go ahead and do it. But just this once, like.
When did you start becoming comfortable with it?
I think that's hard for her to hear, because if she didn't, she's realizing that the way it looks and sounds is that she was comfortable with it. And let's go on she really wasn't comfortable with it. It might be hard for her to hear that and have the realization that it seems like she was comfortable with it. But again, I referenced the ex-girlfriend and how he couldn't spend the night there.
I don't know if I was ever comfortable with it.
But you told them to go Sunday night to go sleep together.
I did. That was a selfish move on my part, because I wanted a good night's sleep. I didn't want her kicking me or rolling onto me or waking me up, or to hear her alarm so that it woke me up. I wanted to keep sleeping until I needed to sleep, because I just.
And in another interview, she references getting up to get Maddie up. But in other interviews, she says she didn't want Maddie's alarm waking her up. So that is something that stood out to me. Cozy, I didn't know that. I have heard that if you're a brand channel, you can't get gifted memberships. I don't know if that's intentional, if you wanted to be a brand, but there might be a way you can turn that off. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to like switch the account on their account and you lose all your comments. I mean, I just started my channel. Brand new, if anybody wants to like go follow. And I was like, I don't know what to do now, but yeah.
Okay, maybe if somebody knows how to switch it, leave it in the comments. I went and followed you, and there was somebody.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, and there was somebody else in the chat from that day that I followed, but I couldn't remember everybody. If y'all have channels and you want me to, I'll come follow you. If you let me know in the chat, I'll look back through it and go follow you guys. If you guys have channels, just let me know. And thank you all for being here.
Just had not, with my training schedule, I have not had a good night's sleep. My medication was out of whack. I was feeling funny and not like myself. And I knew that I needed another night's sleep and my medication in my body like ASAP, so I needed to go to bed. So I wasn't even comfortable sending her that night, but I just did it for my own selfish reasons.
Okay. Did you know he's never said anything to you or anything about it?
If anything, I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him like that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. Like, you can't do that to me. Like,
why would you say that to him?
Because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man. My mom.
Okay. So even the cop picked up and asked, why would you say that? And again, I have to ask, why would you say that? Why would you not say, my biggest fear is my child? Like, okay, let's reference the fact that never trust a man. I always told him that I didn't want them to sleep in the bed together or that it made me uncomfortable because my biggest fear is that somebody is going to touch my child or hurt them in an inappropriate manner. But you skip past that and reference a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter is with the stepdad when she turns 18. Why is that your fear and not that somebody was going to touch her, somebody was going to hurt her, somebody was going to do something inappropriate? But you skip past all that and go straight to the Woody Allen situation. I have to speculate that it's because you knew what was going on and you didn't want them to be together when she got old enough, because that would hurt. Again, she references me. I don't want that. That would kill me, not Maddie.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then at one point she's like, "I'm hyper vigilant. I never allowed her to go on sleepovers because I know what happens." And then like 5 minutes later she goes, "Oh yeah, they keep begging for sleepovers because they wanted, you know." And the cop's like, "Who was begging for sleepovers?" That Maddie and Stefan both were begging to sleep together.
Yep.
Weird.
Jenny,
Weird.
honey, if you got YouTube open in your background, make sure you close it because there was an echo just a second ago. Welcome. You okay? Can you hear? Are you there?
I'm here. Who are you talking to?
Jenny.
Oh, okay.
Jenny, if you're having problems, you can try to go back out and then come back in. All right, I'm going to play this, see if you can get it fixed. Cozy, you can come back up. I don't know if you got yeeted, but you can come back up. You didn't have to drop.
Mom put that in my body. Never trust a man. And like,
Jenny, if you have your phone muted or whatever you're using muted, then that could be what's going on because your mic is on like you're not muted. So as long as when you come up, you close out whatever app you're using YouTube on, you'll be fine. You just have to, because it's like lagged, so you have to close out the YouTube app so you can hear it on the StreamYard. I don't know if that's what's going on, but it tells me your mic is not muted, just so you know.
I did not completely 100% trust the man, but in
Good
my
morning, Tracy.
like the logic in my head was saying, you know, he's been in your life for 7 years, nothing's happened. He hasn't shown you anything that he's weird or that he's done any or that he's interested in her or said anything about her body or talked to her about her in any specific way that like freaked me out. He's never said anything like that or shown me any of those signs. So I thought I could trust him, that he was safe, that he was a good guy, and that he was taking care of my baby and loved her the way I loved her. But I was wrong.
Yes, because
Just
Can you
so
hear me now?
y'all know. Do what? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to know.
Oh, you're good. I just wanted to let y'all know that these images, especially this one right here, this is photoshopped. Okay, this is not an actual image. I got a little
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I got a little angry with people commenting about photos, so I kind of got irritated and made some photos that maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe it's not in the best taste, but I think it's okay personally.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to play this.
Can you still hear me? Just trying to make sure.
Yeah, I can hear you.
because
Right.
Did you want to say something?
Oh, you could just keep playing. Sorry.
Okay, no, you're good, sweetheart. You're fine.
you may think he was whatever.
I know.
Hi, Alice and LS. This is redacted. That's not me. Again, I have a trigger warning scrolling across the bottom of my screen. My scrolling across the bottom of the video there. So there's a trigger warning.
So I need you to, I know this is a lot, but Monday morning, I really need you to focus on his actions Monday morning.
Okay.
So you go to help him with the dog. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you or do you not see Maddie?
I do not see Maddie.
Okay. Would at that time, would it be normal?
Hey, Jen, just like with Cozy, if you have something you want to speak on, just tell me to pause and I'll pause it.
For her to be awake,
Okay.
getting up ready for school?
Yes.
Okay. And according to you, she typically does that in her bedroom.
Yes.
Okay. When you go out of your bedroom to help him with this dog.
I never left my bedroom.
Oh, you didn't?
He was in my bedroom. He walked in. The dog was on top of my bed, and he went to leash the dog on top of my bed. I got off the bed to try to help him with that, and then he said, "No, go back to sleep." So I did.
Okay. He tells you that he took Maddie to school and drops her off somewhere near the school so she could walk because she doesn't want to be seen inside of his car.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe him?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because of the evidence, because of the photos, because of what you're telling me. Because he's clearly a liar. I want to hope my daughter's alive and out there and that she was taken. I don't know anymore.
Well, I can be fairly confident that a stranger did not take Maddie.
Great
The only
point,
person
Ellen.
she was with was
Good morning,
Stephanie.
Casey.
Why would he go to Northport?
I don't know. I don't know what's in Northport other than his parents. Did you know he was going to Northport?
I thought when I woke up and he wasn't in the hotel, I thought he had gone to the Target Plaza right next door to the hotel we were staying at because he likes to go shopping when he's stressed. But that's not what happened according to you guys. He actually went all the way to Northport and came back.
So when he gets stressed, he likes to go shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he tell you he was going shopping on Monday?
He was going to go stop at a few game shops to see if they had any Lorcana cards for sale.
Would that be considered stressful shopping? In your mind or your eyes?
No, because he does this often. He'll want to see what stores have what in stock to see if he can afford to buy it or not.
Mm-hmm.
He'll go from shop to shop. He does this. He does this.
Okay. So going back to it, he says he drops Maddie off and he sees her walking towards the school. And then did he tell you where he went after that?
He said he drove around for a little bit, killing time, and then
Killing time for what?
for the vape shop to open.
Okay.
And then I think he told me he waited. No, he told me he waited in front of the vape shop for it to open. But I think that it didn't open. It never opened in time when it was supposed to.
You know what vape shop he went to?
Yes. And I know that I brought this vape shop up to one of the other detectives earlier, and I had shown them this location. But that vape shop is located in a plaza where it has an Amscot on one corner and a bank on the other corner. So if you guys could probably find video footage of if he was even there, pulling in and out. That's in Hunter's Creek.
And you know for a fact this is where he went?
That's where he told me. Yeah. If it's any vape shop, it says vape shop. And
Why that one? Why that specific one?
Good morning,
He
Tom.
likes the brand, the e-smoker company. And that's where he gets all of his vape stuff. He won't go to any other vape shop around here. He goes to that one.
Just by the way, this photo is not photoshopped. Well, I removed what he's holding and wrote the word there, but just to get an idea of him as a person, this is an actual photo that you can find on Google.
So I have to say something now
What
that
time
I
is
guess
the
now that
vape
you're
shop
muted.
supposed to open?
Hold on a minute. Okay, there you go. Sorry.
Oh, I was sorry. I was like, let me just take advantage now that she paused it. Well, just one thing that doesn't make sense. She says 3:34 she fell asleep, right? At the hotel.
Mhm.
She wakes up around
Mhm.
9, but then according to Chris Stearns, he said he received a call from Jen 10:45, 11 that she didn't find Stefan. And he's like, okay, well, how long has he been gone? And she said 25 minutes. So it's like, if you knew it was
Oh, great.
25 minutes, did you know? Did you see him?
Right.
Or are you covering for him?
Yeah, that's a great point.
And then, the
Yeah.
whole her sending Maddie to sleep with him, it's like, well, for one, he's a grown man. He's not her dad. And then
Right.
two, it's like, he has insomnia. So why are you sending her to sleep with him knowing he's going to be awake all night? He could be on his phone, potentially wake her up. Wouldn't that
Right.
make you think no? And my sister and I are sharing a room. I have a queen bed. She has a full-size bed. A
Mhm.
dresser fits in her room, the closets. So, there's no way she couldn't have fit, like an
Yep.
extra little bed in there.
Yep. I
And then the
agree.
whole Woody Allen thing, she's like, I never knew, I never suspected. He never gave me any indications he was a creep. Then why, in her words, she always told him she didn't want a Woody Allen situation? Well, if you always brought it up, if it was always a concern, like you've said from the beginning, there must have been something he said. Maddie's beautiful, some comment about her appearance, something that made you feel this isn't right.
Right. Yep. Jenny always has great points. That's why she's my mod. She
I told
always
you I'm coming in hot today.
You're always on top of it. That's all really great points. Thank you for that.
Yes, hi to everyone in chat. Sorry for the past few minutes I haven't been able to keep up. I was having breakfast with my sister, but
Oh, you're
I'm
good.
back.
Hi,
You're fine.
Jen.
Hi, Cozy. I'm loving your points.
Oh, good. I have to like mute myself so I don't just keep talking the whole time. I'm like, people
I'm
want to
like,
watch
she's
the
coming in
show.
hot too.
Cozy, you were really loud again, okay? I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I just want to let you know. Yeah, thank you guys for coming up here and sharing your comments, and thank you to everybody in chat. And if you guys need me to pause, just unmute and say, "Hey, can you pause it?" And I will.
Yeah, and then the whole, she saw what Maddie picked out to wear, then she didn't.
Yep.
Then it's like, oh, I told her to pick out her clothes, so I saw it. No, I didn't. So it's like, did you see it? Did Stefan tell you this is what she's wearing?
Yeah, I have a question about this because remember when they are in her mother's insurance office when the police show up for like a missing child call
Right.
and Jen is like, "Hey there," like not even worried the least bit. And then they're discussing her clothes, and then Stefan Stern said black shorts, and then Jen's like, "No, blue shorts," or whatever, the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that
Yep.
was interesting. Like, why are they arguing about her shorts? Like, who saw her? He definitely saw her. Maybe in the dark, if it's like dark blue, you can't tell if it's blue or black. But why was she correcting him?
Right. And then she's like,
Yep.
I called Stefan to come help me take her. Well, you had Monday, Tuesday off, so why would you need help? And then I don't know if it's Detective Mark. It's one of the detectives is like, okay, well, if you needed help, couldn't she have just stayed at her grandmother's house since, they had been helping her the days prior? And she was like, well, I wanted to see my daughter. Okay, well, you probably see her in the morning, but you asked Stefan to come drop her off at school, so you wouldn't have seen her in the morning. She's at school
Yeah.
all day. So
Yep.
you wouldn't have seen her until like 4:30ish till bedtime. So in that case, couldn't the grandma have taken her and she say, okay, I'm going to pick you up so I can spend that whole afternoon with you, you know?
Yep. Darla, oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. I know I was going to tell you that there's been conflicting statements about shorts and blue pants, but you said Stephen Stern said Madeline was wearing blue pants. All right. Thank you guys for that. I'm going to play this. Let me know if you want me to pause it again. Thank you again, Jenny, for coming up. It's good to hear your
You're
voice.
welcome. I think I'm going to hop off. I have a doctor's appointment in a bit, but it's been great being here, joining panel.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to do that. I hope your doctor's appointment goes good for you. Good morning, Carol, I'm sorry. Good morning, Carol. Okay, I'm going to play the video. I hope you have a good doctor's appointment, Jenny, and I will see you later or tomorrow. Have a good night.
The say on there? Go.
Or day, rather.
10 a.m.
Okay. When you guys are here,
If this pic is bothering anybody, I can put a overlay. Just let me know.
are you guys assigned garage remotes for the? How many of those do you have?
I have one. Stefan has one. I'm not sure if Angelica or Natalie have one.
I mean, is it something you keep in your pocket or
I keep in my car.
what about Stefan?
I think sometimes he leaves it in the car. Sometimes he brings it in with himself. It depends.
Why would he bring it inside?
I'm not sure.
Does that seem normal to you? To bring a garage remote inside the house?
No.
Oh, okay, LA.
But he said that morning he left the house. He said that morning he left the house and then returned again because he forgot the garage clicker, so he came back to get the clicker. I don't know how true that is or not.
Do you think that was odd?
He's a very forgetful guy. I don't fucking know what to think of him anymore. I don't know if he's lying. I don't know.
All right. So you know you're all around.
Yeah. That's Maddie asleep in the car.
Maddie's not asleep in the car.
What do you mean?
This part right here, like, again, even the cop is catching her on her BS.
Do you believe Maddie's asleep there?
Is she dead?
I don't know. We don't know where she's at.
Who reacts like that?
It's an odd way for her to be laying down sleeping.
Who reacts like that? I'm inquiring minds want to know. Who woo, I'm befuddled. I have to question again, using speculation and speculation only. Like, are you saying she's asleep because you're trying to convince yourself that? Because even the cops, like, look at this picture. She's obviously not asleep. And then, as calm as a bird on the sunniest day in the world, is she dead? Like, who has that reaction? I've never in my life seen or heard something like that.
So this is at 7:30 in the morning. Ish.
It's way too early.
But you said you thought around 8 o'clock.
Because I
She said what she said under her breath was, "That's way too early," when he said this was at 7 o'clock or something like that.
Knowing that he was getting her ready for school, so that would be the time he'd wake me up and take her. Was earlier.
So just for the recording, this is a video from within the complex that shows the front angle through the windshield.
Yes. So the next picture is going to be Maddie in the front seat of Stefan's car. You see right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's taken at 9 o'clock near SeaWorld.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping you can tell me that.
SeaWorld?
He's near SeaWorld. That's International Drive. Does he know anybody up there?
I don't think so.
He
doesn't have-
likes to go.
He doesn't have many friends like that. Like, not locally. Does he have anywhere he would like to go?
Is there a special place he likes to go?
One thing I can think of.
Here's another picture from the dumpster in Venetian Bay of Stefan throwing away trash.
Good morning, Lenore.
What day?
That's going to be Monday morning, probably around 7:45.
JR, I have never witnessed that, thank God. And I hope I never have to. But again, I can't fathom having that reaction. And then just there's no emotion afterwards either. Like, okay, maybe shock took place and she needed a minute. But you just said, is she dead? Referencing your only child. Again, I have not seen that. And I hope I never have to see that. And I hope nobody in here ever has to deal with something like that. But the reaction is not normal, in my opinion. And what normal is completely different for everybody else. But still, at the end of the day, if you're looking at a picture and told that your child, your only child, is deceased, you're going to have some kind of reaction. And you're going to
Yeah.
show some kind of emotion.
Did you hear how she says it? She says, "Is she dead?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know everybody can react in a different way and have a different reaction, but it's weird, man. Like, this is our intuition. And women especially, we are really in tune with our intuition, and it's a special kind of intelligence. We I don't know, man. Intuition is like we can see all of these things and we can connect them in our minds and maybe in an unconscious way, and then we can't even explain why it's off, but it feels off. Especially we women. Like, I don't have a human child, I have a cat child, but it's still a maternal instinct.
Yep.
No way would you be like, is she dead?
Right. I have more
And
emotion
then
over my rabbit.
yeah, my cat disappeared one day. She got stuck inside a closet and I didn't know. And I was like, even my neighbor came out because I was like, why are you crying? I was insane. I was running around the neighborhood screaming her name. Turns out she was locked inside the closet. Thank God she was home. But I mean, yeah, I had to take a Xanny to relax out, to kind of come down from it afterwards, So
Oh my
how many
goodness.
of us will just get like, I lost my cat, I lost my dog, or how many of you who have had small kids, you lose them in the store for like 3 seconds, you turn around, they're not there, and you freak out. This woman, is she dead? Yeah, and then she goes, when the cop goes, well, would you like to speculate maybe, like if you were writing a story, what would? And she theorizes everything that he did, and she goes, well, I don't know how he could have carried the body out of the. 5 minutes later, she's already calling Maddie a body.
Right. And that, yeah, Exactly. That's a great point.
Has the dumpster, has that already been taken? Have you guys been able to look at what was dumped? What was thrown out?
What do you think was in there?
Clothes? I don't know.
What makes you say clothes?
I can't tell what he's holding. I don't know if it's a plastic bag full of stuff or...
Inside of that bag is Maddie's backpack, Maddie's school computer, and one of her Crocs.
Are you telling me we're looking for a body right now?
We're looking for Maddie, absolutely. 100% we're looking for her.
No. Most likely she's not alive.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I have a feeling that you and Stefan have some sort of communication on places he likes to go, or so, because some of the questions that I ask, it seems like you almost not cover up for him, but kind of defend him or have answers to some of these questions.
Okay, if the police are picking up on it, I think that's where the rest of the public is going to be too, because these are seasoned detectives that unfortunately deal with things like this a lot. So I just want to point that out. Like, yes, we might sound harsh and critical, but again, the police are asking the same questions that we are.
Because I want you to have more further insight as to why he might do things.
Good morning, Trixie.
But you
Good
saying,
morning. I wanted to
Good morning.
touch on some of the stuff. Let me step
Okay, you're
outside
cutting
so
out a
little
little
ears
bit.
don't hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're cutting out a little bit. I don't know if you got headphones on.
Nope. Is that
Sometimes
better?
a little bit.
Let me go out and come back in.
Okay.
and he's forgetful and all that
Maddie
stuff.
too. I just want you to understand, like, we're all the same. We're both we're all very forgetful. We're all very time blind. It's just part of our ADHD. I just want you to know, like,
What kind of grades does she make at school? Not great. What about her attendance record?
she's got a lot of doctor's appointments that we've gone to, so she's got a lot of absences.
Are they excused or unexcused?
I want to say for the most part excused. Every time we take her to a doctor's office, I bring a note.
Hold on, Trixie. I'm
Do
trying
you know
to
that for sure, or
Is this any better?
we're working?
Oh, yes, but you're really loud. That's all.
Oh, okay. I can turn the volume down. Let me go into my settings.
Okay.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit, but you're good. You go ahead
Well,
and tell us.
okay. I wanted to touch on being the mom of a child that ran away and a child who passed away. Two separate children. When my
Sorry.
daughter ran away, we didn't know. I was at work. My husband was out fishing with his dad. He came back home, thought my daughter was sleeping. She was on the couch, but come to find out it was pillows. The, age-old
Yeah.
way of doing it. But we found out she ran away. She met someone online because my daughter, she was homeschooled because she, there was issues with her because she was so developed at 12 that boys were being really horrible to her. So we pulled her out of school and homeschooled her. So she didn't really have too much of a social life outside of her 6 brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
So she ran away with this guy. It was a horrible thing. I was so beside myself. I unlike Jen, I ran the neighborhood. Did you see anything? Did anybody see anything from this time till this time? Da 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 da. I went and made flyers, all this
Right.
stuff.
Yep.
I still, in fact, have a couple from way back then. We were scouring the internet. My brother-in-law ended up hearing from her, and it took us a week to get my daughter back home.
Yeah.
It was the scariest thing. We did call the police. They really didn't want to do too much about it, but they did put a bolo out for her because of the fact that she was so socially stunted, which made
Yeah.
her a target.
Yeah. I homeschool ours, and if you don't get in like the co-op groups for the homeschool kids, they don't get they're socially active with their siblings. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Correct. So then, okay, so we've got her back, she's an adult with kids and stuff now. But when my son passed away, and that's why I'm not seeing from Jen outside of the fake boo-hoo. Nobody, when your child dies, I'm sorry to say it that way,
I'm sorry
you
you had.
do not, when your child passes, you do not do the whole, no. Your
Right.
emotions come from so deep inside of you. It's
Yep.
animalistic.
Yep.
I ended up on the ground screaming.
And I think that's a normal reaction if you look at other cases and things, or when things like that have happened. I saw a car wreck and a mama did that. That's a normal reaction. And again, I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
It's, that day, and honestly, I almost saw it. Okay. My son had been passed away in his vehicle for 64 hours. I got it down to the hours. They did no investigation in my son's passing. They didn't even turn on his phone,
I am
which
so sorry.
the battery was popped out and everything. I did all that to find out what happened. The last text message he had received was from my husband saying, "Hey, are you coming to the house?" And that was at 8:27 at night. My son passed away within minutes of that. He hit a tree at 80 miles an hour in a chase with his girlfriend. Yes, it was a horrible, volatile situation. But he laid in his car for 64 hours in a ditch, 20 foot
Oh
that
my
went for 20 feet down. I happened to the morning he was found when the police were out there looking in this ditch. Me and my husband and my daughter and my granddaughter at the time happened to be driving by. And I was like, what's going on? We went about our day, went out, took the baby out to eat, took her to Toys R Us, and we got a call about my son and to get home.
Oh my God, that's so hard.
And the whole way I'm freaking out. We got people calling us saying, don't take this road, take this other road, because they're pulling his car out of the ditch. And
I'm
it was just, yeah. So what I hear from this Jen, I don't hear a mother who loved her child and is grieving over the pain her child went through and for her child's passing. I do not hear any of that. I hear someone who knew.
Yep, I agree. I mean, you can't fake shock, right?
No, you cannot. And you cannot fake the initial of hearing of your baby not being here anymore. You cannot fake that. Yeah, I don't
Right.
hear it from her. But
I
that's what
don't
I
either.
wanted to come up and say, because this case angers me so bad that if she was standing in front of me, I don't know what I would do.
Right. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I don't, it's not like I said, you can't fake shock. If you already knew the outcome, you can't fake like acting like you're just finding out this information for the first time and pretend
No,
that you didn't already know something that you already knew, in my opinion.
right. You can't. No, there's. Ugh. All right. Well, I'm going to get down, finish cleaning my floors, and listening to you guys chit chat and talk about this.
Okay, thank you for coming up and thank you for sharing your story. I'm really sorry that you had to go through that.
There's so much more in depth to it. I mean, the investigations I did, the calling out the girlfriend and the things that I found out. Oh my God, it's a case itself. I'm telling you.
Well, you should talk about it and make sure you're continuing to tell his story and the whole, thing. In my opinion, I think you should let people know, try to get the information out. And again, I'm
I
sorry.
try. But
Yeah.
thank you, and I will be down in chat.
Okay. All right.
All
Thank you
right.
for hopping up. It was good to talk to you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Working on getting her school attendance record. I'm just wondering if you being a parent, I would hope that you would know kind of like what her, because I know my daughter's school that if any of them miss one period or 2 periods or something like that, they will call me and say, hey, such and such missed periods 3 or missed period 7 or something like that.
They don't do that. They send out an email and a voicemail, like an automatic voicemail, saying your child was absent today from Hunter
That's
Street
what I
Middle
just said.
School. But not period 1, 2, 3. And it's not early in the morning like some other states do. It's late in the evening at 5 o'clock, which is really late.
Yeah, totally after the fact.
Yeah, totally after. Like, it's.
Have you got a lot of those phone calls of her missing class?
I would say, yeah, I've got a good number of those voicemails and stuff. But I mean, even with excused doctor's notes, I'll still get those phone calls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they miss school.
Yeah. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of those.
Okay. When you say she doesn't make good grades, what's considered not making good grades?
C under, C, D, F. She's got an IEP.
Mm-hmm.
She struggles with.
Trixie, I'm so sorry to hear that. Take a break from this if you need to. I'm sorry. I hate that you ever had to deal with something like that.
She's got a few learning disabilities with reading, with mathematics. Her ADHD doesn't help anything at all. She's very spacey, very like she could see a squirrel and completely forget. Like the teachers have told me, like they'll tell her to do her work and she'll be like, oh,
Lindy, it is normal to call it a period. That's what we called it. Like period 1, period 2. That's what we called it when I was in school.
Okay. And then see something completely get sidetracked and then forget. And they're always on top of her. Okay. But yeah, she's just.
I will say, down here, like one thing that irritated me when my kids were in public school was that if I kept them home sick or something, it would be after the bus ran, that I got the phone call, which was about 4:30 or even 5 o'clock. I would get the phone call that they were absent, and it's like an automated thing. And it's like, your child, and then it says a name, was absent from school today. That's something that the school system needs to fix. I stated in another live, I personally think that they should take attendance in first period and then get a student helper or somebody to take that to the office and have somebody that just looks through to see who's absent and then call. Like in Massachusetts, somebody just said they get a call by 10 a.m. That sounds like something that they're doing. That makes sense to me, that they're checking first period to see who's absent and then making the phone call. That's something that school systems should change, in my opinion.
I forgot where I was going with this. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Her grades and attendance.
Oh, yeah. her grades suffer because of her ADHD for sure. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons she got an IEP is because she's technically 2 years behind with her reading level.
Okay. What grade is she in?
7th.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all can hear that, but there's somebody behind me trying to start some piece of equipment. So if you hear that in the background, I wanted to let you know that's what that was. Sounds like somebody's passing gas, but it's something. I can't even see what it is. Sounds like a lawnmower or something he's trying to start. If you hear that, that's what it is.
And I know we talked last night too, and I just kind of want to reiterate, has she had any changes in her behavior in the past few years?
I'll say yes. But it was all around where puberty hit, and like the typical teenage, the attitude, the sass, the talking back, the disrespect, the pushing boundaries. She was very much doing that. But that calmed down over the last few months. It got even better when Stefan moved out and went to Northport. Maddie and I were actually seeing a therapist together to try to like work through our issues because we were having problems communicating. So, yeah.
But I don't understand how you didn't pick up on the fact that Madeline was way better when Stefan wasn't there. She was doing better in school. It sounds like y'all were seeking therapy to try to work through some things. And you brought him right back. Is there not somebody else you could have got to take her to school that morning? Like if you really needed sleep and you really did your job, getting used to starting a job again or whatever. I mean, grandma couldn't take her. There's a number of family members. Nobody else could take her.
Yeah, like you mentioned this before. She had her birthday party at the grandma's house, and they dropped her off like really late, like I guess 10:30 she said or something, or 8:30 or whatever. Like if she like, okay, I'm really bad. I just started a job, and she had 2 days off afterwards, but she needed her damn sleep, which is fine. We all need our sleep, but that's her excuse for not doing anything. Like you could have just said, let Maddie sleep over, and then someone take her to school on Monday, right? Or does nobody in her family do anything for her? I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that makes a lot of sense because that's a perfect plan or whatever. Yeah. Very valid point.
So Stefan, tell me about I know you say he likes to play board games and all that stuff. Is he like, what else does he like to do for fun?
He's a collector. He collects.
Play sports or anything like that?
No, he collects games and hobbies. He collects. You know what Tamagotchis are?
Mm-hmm.
He collects Tamagotchis. He's got so many of those. Digimons, lightsabers.
Does he like to go camping? Does he like to go to the beach or any of that stuff?
No, the beach makes him self-conscious because he doesn't like how his body looks. He calls himself flappy. But no, he's not an outdoorsy person. He doesn't play sports. He doesn't like the beach. Okay, he used to. Okay, this may be relevant. Back a few years ago, he
Good morning, Kat.
I used to
and
own a
True
scooter,
Crime
an
Addict.
electric scooter, and he owned something called the One Wheel, which is like kind of like a scooter but with one big round wheel in the middle. We would take that and ride around. The Kissimmee Trail connects back here, so we'd take that to the Kissimmee Bridge, what, do that trail over there, come back, or also go into Shingle Creek, cross the street, across Hoagland, go behind an apartment complex, and we end up in Shingle Creek. We would ride all of that and explore all of that wetlands and
Alice.
greenery back there. But we haven't done that in a while. We haven't owned scooters or electronic devices in a few years.
Okay.
Hella
Tell me
good
about,
boy.
you
Good
said there
morning,
was an
Hero.
apartment in Northport.
Lindy, I don't know if I
Is
said
that
it to you.
Stefan's mom's and dad's? Or you guys had a separate apartment?
We rented our own separate apartment.
Okay, where was that? Obviously Northport, but you remember the complex name?
Let me see.
And how long ago was that?
This was back in 2020.
Okay.
I don't remember the month we moved in, but we moved out in November of 2020. We were there somewhere between 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Let me see if I have there.
Good morning, Robin.
Was it just you three there?
Yes, it was just the three of us.
Okay.
So my channel is all about speculation and differing opinions. Let's remember that and just try to be nice in chat. I'm surprised that y'all can't hear that. I think it's a drill. I think, like, you know how like when a nut or bolt gets stuck and you're trying to, it sounds like the thing that they use at the car shop to take the lug nuts off, and it sounds like one is stuck or something. It's not doing it now. I'm surprised y'all can't hear it, but if you can't, I'm glad.
Is Northport, I've never been there. Is it a big city, small city?
Oh, I'm sorry. So the apartment we used to live in is in the town next door over. It's called Port Charlotte, Florida.
Okay.
That's a small town. Northport, even smaller, I would say. But Northport.
Yeah, but it's not the air compressor. It's like when you put the gun thing. My husband would know what it is. I probably sound crazy right now, but you put it on there and then they use the air compressor and it takes the lug nuts off the tires, but sometimes it'll get stuck and it'll make that loud noise. That's what the noise is. But I'm glad y'all can't hear it. Good morning, Tori. Alice, Kat, I don't know if I said y'all's names, but good morning. Oh, sorry.
Or being more popular because it's attached to Sarasota County, so it has.
Tori, we share differing opinions. I am leaning towards more of that, and I do depict some bias in some of these pictures. I do, and I shouldn't have, but I do. And I just wanted to let you know that. Good morning, Jessica. If you disagree with that, then yeah, this might not be a good channel for you, but I like to hear differing opinions, and it's all just speculation. Bye, Tori. Thank you for stopping by.
Has more people living in it. Charlotte County is pretty small.
Is it rural?
I mean, there was a city center, and I mean, there was a Tamiami Trail ran through it.
Okay.
So, major road, lots of businesses, lots of shops. So, it's out in the middle of nowhere, but.
Fun fact is Northport is the third largest city in the state of Florida, square miles wise.
Yeah. It's big.
Wow, thank you,
The name
Kat.
of the apartment complex I used to live in is called Charleston K.
Thank you so much for that, Kat. That was so sweet. Thank you.
Does it still exist today? Is that still what it's called?
I'm not sure. I can Google.
And you don't know him to still own it or rent it?
No, because it was under my name. The
It
apartment
was under your name.
Yeah, and I'm the one who gave up the lease.
Okay.
As far as I know, it still
That's true,
exists.
Cozy.
Oh, Charleston K like that. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And you guys, so you were in that apartment for roughly 6 to 8 months, you said, right?
Yes.
Did you live in Port Charlotte or Northport for longer?
No, we immediately
Only that time.
Only that time we moved right back.
Okay. And what would you guys typically do around there?
We did absolutely nothing. It was during quarantine time, so we were very afraid of COVID, very afraid of going to the store and doing anything. We stayed home, watched movies, watched a lot of Netflix, played a lot of board games. But that was about it. We didn't. So sometimes we'd go to the beach, Venice Beach.
Yep.
But that's about it. We didn't really go anywhere.
Not much stuff outdoors
Mm,
during that time frame.
no, just Venice Beach.
Okay. When did you realize that he went to Northport recently?
When one of the officers told me.
Okay. So what night was that?
Last night.
So they told you last night, or he went last night?
They told me last night that he had went earlier that morning to Northport with my car.
Okay. Were you guys staying at the hotel together?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you not notice him gone? Did you sleep through it?
I slept through it. I went to sleep around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And I did not wake up until 9. And that's when I noticed he was gone. And I called Stefan's dad, Chris, who was in the same hotel. I said, "Hey, is Stefan with you?" He goes, "No, he's not with you." And I'm like, "No, he must have left and my car keys are gone." He's like, "Oh." I'm just like, maybe he ran out to get some food, or maybe he ran out to get something, or to Target. And he's like, "Okay, we'll just give him a little bit to wait."
Why didn't you call him directly?
Stefan?
You have a phone?
I don't think he had a phone.
Okay, we know that he had a phone because the dad, Chris Stern, stated that he gave him a phone to use while the police had his phone, number one. And number two, if you listen to the interview with Stefan's dad from July, he talks about, or the police tell him that Stefan left at 3:45. So, and his dad is like, "Oh my God, he just waited for us to fall asleep and then he left, and he's still not back at 9:10 in the morning." Where was he at the whole night that they were in the motel? And did somebody else know? We know that the dogs hit on Jen's car. They didn't hit on his, and we know for a fact that Madeline was in that car because he's seen driving her around in the front seat. And then the video from the other hotel parking lot, where he moved her to the trunk, but the dogs hit on Jen's car, which is weird.
And I think his dad eventually did give him a phone for him to use, but that was later that morning. And I was never given that phone number either, so I never had it.
Also, my husband is watching this on his phone, and he said that it was delayed. He was telling me that, "Kat, you gave me that, and I wanted you to know that if it was delayed, I'm sorry. I tried to catch it pretty much as soon as I saw it." Thank you again for that. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for all being here and sharing your thoughts and opinions. I really appreciate it. It helps me so much for you to just be here and share your thoughts and opinions. Thank you.
How do I contact him?
Okay. Why do you think he would go there?
I was told he went into a storage unit. I have no freaking clue what he would be getting in a storage unit or hiding.
Do you know about the storage unit?
I have heard of the storage unit. I've always known Chris or his parents to always have storage units. They own a lot of shit. They're kind of a little bit like hoarders, but they own a lot of stuff. They have, I think, a few storage units, or they did. I think they may have condensed down to just one, maybe. But yeah, I've always known them to have storage units.
Okay. And if you were to leave from Kissimmee, what way would I go to get to Northport or Port Charlotte?
I-4 down to 75 to exit 179, I think, Toledo Blade Road.
Thanks, Kat.
Toledo Blade?
Yeah. And they live pretty close right off the highway.
Did you see him when he got back eventually?
Yes.
Did you ask him?
Yeah, where the fuck he was. I'm like, an officer's coming right now to interview us. Where the fuck have you been? This would have looked terrible if you weren't there. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I went out to go get some food and I found a Wawa and then I got turned around and I got lost and then I made it my way back here. And we're like, oh, okay. Not fucking thinking anything other than just believing him. I feel like so stupid because I don't know how long he's probably been lying to me about the stupidest shit for the longest time. Like
Again, showing emotion when it comes to Stefan, but not Maddie. Good morning, D-A-V-A, Dava. If I haven't said good morning to you, good morning.
So he said he went out to get food.
Yeah. And
Good morning, Mara Linda. Good morning.
he came back with he had a cup of from Wawa. He was drinking a drink.
Do you remember what time he got back?
Like 11:15 a.m.
Okay, so you were up around 9ish, you just told me?
Yeah.
So from the time you were up by the time he got back, roughly 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, and he came back with a Wawa cup.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So during that time frame, he tells you he's been lost, got turned around, essentially.
Yeah. He had no way.
For 2 hours.
Yeah, he didn't have a phone. He didn't know how to get back to the hotel room.
Good morning, Turquoise.
That's obviously bullshit.
Did you tell him that?
No, but no, I'm speaking as from what I know right now. That's obviously bullshit. From what I was told by one of you guys, or from what I kind of calculated, he must have left the house in order for him to make this round trip to Northport and make it back by 11. He must have left 5 to 6 hours ago. So I'm just like, that makes it like 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I don't know, something like that. I'm just like, so he waited for me to fall asleep and then he left.
And you said you went to bed around what time?
3:30, 4 o'clock.
100%.
He waited for me to fall asleep and he fucking left.
Okay, I get that part. Are you 100% that you went to sleep around that time?
Oh, that's what you're asking me. I thought you were confirming me like 100%. Please wait. Trying to see if there's any way I can like. I saw the clock saying 3:30 when I got up to go to the bathroom. I was in the bathroom for a little while and then I came back.
And he was there.
He was there and he was asleep. So I went to bed around that time. I was in the bathroom for, I'm gonna say 10 to 15 minutes. I had terrible dinner and it just was not okay. But when I got out, he was awake, or he was asleep. I'm sorry.
Right. In my opinion, they're not going to give immunity deals to people that are innocent. I've never heard that. You're giving an immunity to someone you know that knows something, and you're trying to get them to either testify against somebody else and speak on their involvement, or tell you information about, they can tell that you're lying. So they're trying to get you to admit what you know and telling you that even though you know these things and you might have been somewhat involved, you're not going to get in trouble. That's why they do immunity deals, in my opinion. I don't think that you wouldn't have to give immunity to someone who is genuinely innocent, right? That's what I think.
He actually mentioned, oh man, I woke up really early this morning, around 4, and he mentioned waking up around 4-ish because he had really bad diarrhea and used the restroom. He mentioned that the following day.
And just so I'm on the same thought process, what day were you guys in the hotel?
What day were we in the hotel?
Would that have been Tuesday night?
Let me see. Really late Tuesday night, so I think it was technically Wednesday morning when we checked into the hotel. It was really early. But yeah, Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning.
Good morning, Desiree.
I want to divert a little bit with Maddie.
This is redacted.
Never. Okay. Did she disclose to you about her? Has she had a period yet? Do you know?
Yeah.
Did she disclose to you about that?
Yes.
So do you know her regular
Cycle?
I
usually she usually tells me when she gets it.
In my opinion, the police would not be asking about a young child's cycle if they did not think that it was a possibility for it to play a role in what happened. And I just wanted to put that out there.
And we put it in an app.
Mm-hmm.
I must have missed it this month, or she must have not told me this month when she got it, but I have it written down when she got it back in January.
When should she have had it this month, roughly?
The beginning of the month. She got it in January 1st. So it should have been around the end of February.
January 1st of February?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And was she pretty consistent on telling you?
Yeah, she would tell me when she would get her period. And then she'd actually also tell me every time she used the restroom. Like, Mom, success, I pooped. And I'm like, cool. Because
right.
She's got issues.
And she didn't tell you about this last cycle?
No.
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 You find that odd?
Yes. Now that you're bringing it up, yes.
Would there be obvious signs when she's on her cycle? As far as like certain products she might use?
Yeah, her pads.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point, Nanny.
Pads she would use. I would get her a box about every 2 cycles or so. Because one box would last her 2 cycles. She would typically complain of her breast hurting, having terrible cramps. But I didn't hear any of that this month.
You didn't hear any of that. Okay.
But you said she's been consistent every month telling you about her period?
She's been late a few times, and she's told me, or sometimes her period has lasted way longer than normal. I'll call it irregular. Because
Great point, Alice.
mine was irregular when I was younger too, so I just assumed just her body working through it, trying to regulate itself.
Do you find it odd that it would be a month late?
Just me. Good morning and welcome. Yeah, that's what we thought. I think JR brought that up. She says, hi all. If she was with child, he would have been charged with 2 counts, not just 1. But the question is that I had is I think it's only if the baby is viable outside of the womb that you get 2 counts. If she was only a month or so, the baby would not have been able to live outside the womb. So I'm not sure what the law is on that. I need to look it up. But I don't know that you would necessarily get 2 counts if the baby was not viable outside of the womb, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those images you guys showed me with the car, is there any more?
I mean, none that I can show you right now, but yes, there's quite a few.
But we don't We don't see where he ends up going in the car.
Where do you think he would go?
I have no idea. If I knew, I would tell you. What general direction did you say he headed in?
He's all over the place. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but this is just, we've been doing this job a very long time, as you can tell with all the gray in my beard. Your emotion when I told you you broke down like that. Do you remember that? Like instantly crying. But when you talk about her possibly missing, or God forbid, deceased, that emotion changed.
What do you mean it changed?
So when I told you,
Again, if Ellie's picking up on it, I don't think it's wrong for us to pick up on it
you
as
broke
well.
down and started crying. Okay. But then when I showed you the pictures and said that she may not be asleep in those pictures, your emotion just changed.
I don't want to believe it. I want to.
She's trying to make up an excuse to cover for why she's not having the emotion that the cop, the seasoned detective that's unfortunately dealt with things like this a lot of times, is telling her that her reactions are not normal. So I don't think it's horrible for us to pick up on that either, especially listening to these interviews and hearing law enforcement call it out.
In my heart, I know you're showing me what you're showing me, and you're telling me he threw away her backpack. And I want to assume the worst. I don't want to assume the worst. I want to assume that she's still alive, that she's out there, that he's hidden her somewhere. But with what you're showing me, it feels like we're looking for a body. I'm just in shock. I don't want to believe that she's dead in those images you showed me. She doesn't look like she's sleeping.
Good morning,
Sleep?
John Chalk.
When you sleep in a car, you sleep with your head on the door. Her head was over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you want me to say or do, or just want my daughter back.
And this is exactly what I was just talking about. We are literally having a conversation right now about Maddie possibly being dead.
Yeah.
And you have yet to shed a tear. But when I mentioned to you that
Again, they're pointing it out.
you were crying violently almost. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Because that was physical proof. That was proof of what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
That destroyed me. Until that picture of her asleep or not asleep in the car is not proof to me until I see a body. Mm-hmm. I have hope that she's still alive. But I don't know. With what you're telling me, I'm starting to fucking doubt everything. But I can't tell you why I broke down over one, and I'm being really serious now.
So here's what's going to happen. Starting tomorrow, it's already started, but tomorrow there's going to be information being released
Carol says Jen advised in the second interview that Maddie was on birth control. Yes, but that can be to try to make your periods regular. It's not abnormal to put a child on birth control that has started their periods in the hopes of getting their period to be more regular. It doesn't necessarily mean that she was sexually active. I was put on birth control before I was sexually active to get my periods to be regular. It happens a lot. I just wanted to point that out. But thank you for the comment, everybody. Thank you all for your comments.
Least between our department and Orange County's Sheriff's Office is that now this entire investigation is the Kissimmee Police Department's investigation. Okay. I think I told you that last night.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, we are probably going to start working this case
Hi, Carol.
as
Welcome.
a homicide.
Okay.
Just okay.
Because he's in jail right now for... Okay. He's in jail for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we believe he possibly has done something to Maddie. And we want to know where he would possibly go. Now, this is going to be a very difficult situation. But do you have any knowledge of what he has done with her?
Good morning, Michael. If I haven't said hi to you.
I have no idea. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I would tell you. Having it be switched to homicide makes it.
Good morning, Dottie.
Makes it official for me.
I don't know if it got it, but I said good morning, Dottie.
Is there any more images you could show me?
Not at this time, no.
Good morning, Susie.
And he threw away her backpack. That was her backpack in that bag.
Again, I have to point out from my opinion that it's just, again, misplaced emotion. You're talking about, and he threw away her book bag, but you're not talking about, and he raped my child. He drove around with her in a car and pretended to be asleep as a ruse to fool everybody, right? Like, you're crying over the inhaler and the backpack. And she asked if there's any more images. That's weird to me. Because, okay, you know, we know that police can lie in interrogations or whatever to get you to admit to things that they think you're guilty of. But at the same time, you're still not having the correct emotion, and you're getting a lawyer for this man, trying to make sure he has a lawyer. Like, even the police are picking up on it. I'm not crazy for seeing these signs, I don't think.
How long does somebody go to jail for this? Please tell me. It's so much.
If he did something to her that led in her death.
But you got him a lawyer, so even if it was so much, you're trying to get him a lawyer so it's not so much, right?
Did you see that? I just had to point this out. She never once asks what, like, are you going to arrest him? Did you find Maddie? She never asks law enforcement what they're doing about Maddie. But here she's like, oh my God, please tell me, how long is he going to prison? Like that, he is her child.
Right. Yep.
You know?
Great.
He is her child because she knows everything about Stephen Stearns, and she's so worried about him, and she perks up when she talks about him. And Maddie's forgetful. Maddie's this. Maddie's a slob. Maddie, whatever. She kicks him and whatever. She's a monkey when she sleeps. And
Right.
do you see her worry right here? Oh my God, please tell me how long is he going to be in prison for? Like, it should be, oh my God, please tell me you're going to put him away for life at least. You're going to fry him
Right.
on the chair, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
So there's no defending
Yep.
this woman.
Yep, I agree 100%. I see some people in chat talking about blocking. Blocking is going to be like a really last resort for me. I understand that there's some back and forth in the comment section, and that's understandable. But I like for everybody to have their opinions. Like, you'd have to be real bad for me to block somebody. And while I don't want you to argue, I do want to hear everybody's opinion. I don't think any of us want to be in an echo chamber. So I just want to let y'all know that.
That's, yeah, he's going to prison for life.
Hold on. If anybody, JR is not Jen, first of all. And second of all, if anybody is threatening to dox anybody, that won't be accepted. Just to let y'all know, we don't dox. Hello, old familiar. It's not that serious. We don't need to be doxing anybody just because they were in a chat on YouTube. Just to put that out there.
He's probably going to prison for life.
So, like, multiple life sentences, fine. Fuck him. Oh my God.
Has he tried reaching out to you from jail?
No.
Oh, Nanny Goat. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sorry if it wasn't me that was asking to block. Yeah, you guys can block people yourselves if it bothers you that bad. Good morning, Offie Kyle. Good morning.
Oh,
Has he tried reaching out to anybody from jail?
I don't know. I talked to his dad earlier, but he didn't share much information. I don't even, did I ask him?
Official.
recall if
Good
I asked
morning. Thank you.
If he's reached out to him. I don't remember his conversation this morning. Sorry.
Good point, Jessica.
All right, we are going to check on the progress that they're making inside real quick.
Did he tell you where she's at?
No. I haven't spoken to, like, since when? Like, in the hotel?
Anytime.
No, never. Like,
We need to find her.
I know. I wish I knew where to tell you guys to look. Fucking wish. Like, could you show me, like, a map of where around town he was so I could point out maybe this, maybe this, maybe this?
There's too many places.
Has he ever talked about giving Maddie medication? Like any of his medication?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think so, or?
No.
Okay. Have you ever given her any of your medication?
She's got her own anxiety medication.
Do you double check her medication?
When we give it to her? Yeah. I make sure I grab the bottle or she grabs the bottle, but, like, somebody's got eyes on her.
And again, she's already stopped crying. Sub Rosa, I don't want you to think I was attacking you. I wasn't attacking anybody either. Just to let you know.
The pills and taking them. Like, it's a tag team situation. She's not allowed to take them alone. So we just make sure that we got to watch her, because I don't want her to accidentally grab the wrong bottle and accidentally take Adderall before bed, because that sounds like a terrible idea.
How long have you guys lived in Osceola County?
On and off for 12 years.
What about 7?
On and off for 6.
Okay. Would you say he's pretty familiar with Osceola County? Does he venture off?
No. I know he'll visit he likes to visit gaming shops and like board game shops. Does he drive around aimlessly just to kill? I mean, just to drive? I don't think so. I think he goes out with plans.
Okay. Does he have close friends that live here?
In Central Florida, no.
No.
Mm-mm. The majority of his friends are in Northport, Florida.
Northport?
Mm-hmm.
Does he go with cars?
Is he good with cars?
What do you know how to change the oil, change a tire?
I mean, supposedly he said he changed a tire on Monday and hurt himself. So I don't know how good that makes you to hurt yourself. But yeah. Question.
Mm-hmm.
The vehicle that you guys towed, that was his? Did it have a donut on the car?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Good
Do
morning,
you not know
Pat
his car?
Sanford.
No, I do know his car. I just don't remember if I ever actually saw the donut or not. I never came to inspect the car. I was wondering, was that part of the story true? Did he actually get a flat tire?
Who is in St. Cloud?
I know people in St. Cloud, and he doesn't know where they live.
Does he know those same people?
He's met them before and talked to them before when they've come over here.
Good morning,
Where do they
Lime
live in
Pepper.
St. Cloud?
Off of Old Canoe Creek Road. Do you want me to get you an address?
Sure.
Has he ever went with you to go see him?
No.
Never.
No. I've never even gone to her house like that to hang out. She always comes to my house. So they know each other. She lives in St. Cloud, but we've never gone to St. Cloud together with her, to her house.
And how do you know her? She work with you?
Yeah, she's an old coworker from 14, 15 years ago.
From Disney?
No, we used to work at a pizzeria. That was when I was a lot younger.
Are you texting her?
Would you like me to call her or would you like to text?
No, I thought you were just gonna pull it up. It's off Old Canoe Creek.
Yeah, I don't know her exact. I don't know the exact street or address or. I want to say it's actually. Hold on. If I pull up a map. So she lives off of.
Good morning,
This
Cinnamon
road right here, Nolte
Girl
Road
and
in St.
Miss
Cloud.
Holmes.
Nolte. That's 192 right there.
Yep.
Old Canoe Creek, Nolte. She lives around there.
Would you be able to point it to me?
To which house? No.
Not the specific house, but like, is it in a neighborhood? Does she have her own land?
It is in a neighborhood. I don't remember where though. I don't know how far down. I have to drive down Nolte.
Are you familiar with Nolte?
No.
No.
No, I think I've only dropped her off at her house once.
Good morning, Fury Pesto. Cozy Constellations does have her own channel. I went and subbed to it yesterday. She plays like soothing music and stuff. There's a lot of that on there from what I saw.
drop Maddie off there?
No, my friend.
Oh, your friend. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm
You
not.
want to text the address?
Yeah, let me text.
And what was her name?
Michelle
Mason.
Masson.
2 S's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fury Pesto is a cool name. Good morning.
The thing is, I don't think Stefan would know where she lives, but
No, I'm not saying that he did, but I'm just trying to see who you would know in St. Cloud.
okay.
That's all.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only person. There might be somebody else that lives like closer to Harmony, but that's the only people I know.
What does it say?
That's redacted. Just so y'all know it's not me.
Michelle Mason, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
What part of Nolte was it on?
So they're redacting addresses and locations of friends that they had.
That is
Anders, that was the rumor.
Stevens Plantation.
Stevens Plantation. It is going to be. I don't know what neighborhood that is. But if you go on Burberry Place.
Good morning, Alyssa. And yeah, her ex-husband Stephen, with the other daughter that lived in the house with them for a period of time, did say that she checked out as a mom sometimes. And the biggest thing in that interview was when he stated, I had to get my daughter out of that situation. Like, if it's that bad that you've got to get your child out of there, that says something to me. And unfortunately, he couldn't get Maddie out of there at that time, which sucks, but he did everything he could. Good morning, Jenny Meow Meow. I don't know if I said hey to you yet.
Yeah, no, it's not. All right. Well, we're gonna check, see how they're going on inside. Like what we did last night. Do you swear and affirm everything that you've told us today is to the best of your knowledge? So help you God.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're gonna complete this interview. It is 6:35 p.m.
Okay, so we have been on for 3.5 hours. So I'm going to do the other interview, the one that I just put out last night. We'll do that one tomorrow. And I hope to see all of you guys back here. Cozy said, yeah, Jen switching like this is not bipolar. It's just bad acting. I have to agree with that. I don't think that it's bipolar either, in my opinion.
Well, thanks for letting me come on. It was fun. I hope I didn't gab too much.
Oh, no, you're good, honey. You're fine. That's what it's about. I like for you guys to come up and in chat or on here, share your opinions. That's what my channel's about.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. It was nice to talk to you. Good morning, JP27. It's nice to see you. So tomorrow is Saturday, so it will be a 10 o'clock live. And we'll go over the other interview of Jen Soto that I got put out last night. I'm going to see if there's any other ones I can get put out for you. I don't know that they'll be new, they'll probably be older ones. But I will work on getting the older ones put out because, like I said, I'm trying to put it in order in the Madeline Soto playlist in the order that it happened. So I am going to try to get everything out for you guys so you guys have those videos without commentary that you can use for whatever you want. I don't mind if you use my videos as long as you state where you got them from, but you can use the videos without commentary for yourself, make a channel, whatever you want to do. And there's a document section of memberships where you can get documents and things and also use for whatever you want to do. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for sharing your opinions. I hope to see you all tomorrow. We'll be back and go over another interview. And I hope y'all have the best day you've ever had in your whole entire life. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.